Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom. The fireworks are not done.
Is that correct?
I didn't ask you to interrupt.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.
Here we go. We're going to kick this thing off. Good morning. Why can I not hear myself? Test 1 2, test 1 2. Check. There we go. Test. That too loud. That's really loud. It's the music that's loud. Test 1 2. Now I'm loud. Check. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. It is Friday. The wrong background's behind me. I forgot to move out of the Aurora borealis this morning. Great podcast last night, by the way. Loved spending time with both Thomas and my wife, which was great. Hope you guys did get a chance to step outside and got to see the Aurora borealis. I got some amazing pictures sent. Lee, thank you. Bite Me sent me some. I've got a bunch of pictures taken of what everyone else saw, which I can just say right now, quite definitively, it was better than what I saw. I live too close to too much light pollution and got next to nothing. But if you guys all close your eyes just for a second on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, eyes closed and open again. There we go. We're back in court. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Good morning. Happy Friday. Who peeked? Someone was peeking. I'm just kidding. It's magic. The magic of the internet has brought us back to court. It is good to be here. Happy Friday. I'm losing my voice. Maybe I talked a lot last night. I don't know.
If they didn't, I would lose my mind.
Well, I'd rather lose my voice than my mind, I think. If we can, put those two on a scale and say which one would you choose. Would you rather? Let's see, pop out chat. Let's do this really quickly. Oh, I think I'm still getting yes, I am. I'm getting more Aurora, more Northern Lights pictures. Let's see. Red pen. Let's see. Red pen. Beautiful.
Bring the jury.
I think I'm about to catch
you guys all have better views of the night sky than I do. Okay, I see. It is Debbie's birthday. Before we do Debbie's birthday, we have to say welcome to Selena K. First in chat this morning. Selena, congratulations. Longtime member. You know what's coming, Selena. First in chat has its punishment. And it is a punishment. We're going to punish you with internet ownership. That means
kickback, taking it easy.
You have to repair the internet for everybody. And it looks like some people are already reporting excessive unit usage in your area. So if you can trace that down,
apocalypse, maybe
that would be wonderful. Thank you very much, Selena K. Congratulations. We're going to add this to your permanent record. Sharon comes in with the birthday this morning. We have Debbie. Thank you very much, Debbie, for having a beautiful birthday today. And we're going to sing to you before we begin court, which is coming up shortly. By shortly, I mean shortly. There we go.
I saw a chicken fight.
I saw a chicken fighting. Okay, that's all right. You can see a chicken fighting. We're going to sing Happy Birthday by we.
Shame on you,
I'm talking
sir.
about all of us. All of us. We're going to sing Happy Birthday to Debbie. Debbie is the one who made this beautiful artwork behind me right here. I always point to the wrong shoulder because it's reversed on camera. Right back here. That is work that she does out of her Etsy shop. So if you don't know about her Etsy shop and you ever have need of a beautiful personalized plaque, she is your go-to gal for that. Thank you for posting the link there in chat for her as well. But let's sing happy birthday, and by that I mean all of us. So please warm up with me if you will. Jennifer Juniper leading us. La 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 la. Excellent, excellent. My son Gavin turned 9 today. Okay, we're going to add Gavin to the list as well. So Creative B and Gavin. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Creative B and Gavin. Happy birthday to you. Gavin and Debbie, happy birthday. It's a Friday. I always love it when my birthday falls on a Friday because it's like Friday's already a good day because it's the day before the weekend, right? Well, now you get a birthday and the weekend piled up together, and we get to spend time together, which is amazing. Melissa doing fast, and Melissa and Matthew, thank you. Hopefully you're both doing wonderful. We love following along and hearing good news from you both. Let's see. Haley, Salisbury, 1 p.m. Eastern. Yes, lots of things to do on your birthday today. A million things you could do. Fractured, happy birthday to your grandson tomorrow as well. He's going to turn 3, the big 3. That's a great birthday. 3 is like when all is right in the world. You're 3 years old. Danny Austin, thank you for greetings sent during the birthday song as well. Just adding to the cheer. Today's trial schedule just started on my birthday, says Tisha. That's awesome. It's wonderful. I just don't want the dancers to stop yet. Keep going, dancers. You practice the whole routine. We might as well do it. I am out of water, and Mrs. R.A. is going to go get some. She's ordered it already, but we haven't picked it up yet. So I'm just going to sit there. Oh, I think this is the drum solo one. Yes, I think we're already to the drum solo. All right. Everyone has their drumsticks out. I see them. Getting ready. Ready? Here we go. Hands at the ready. Left hand, right hand. Let's get the rhythm just perfect today. Beautiful. It was beautiful. It was a fantastic ending. Thank you all. And I love that all of you are playing your drums in your houses all around the world, which is beautiful. Let me just rolled over Matthew's toes. Oh no, Melissa. All right. Thank you. I'm getting the burn front is blowing up with all the people who have better views of the Northern Lights than me. See, I know we missed a couple people during the podcast. I apologize. I know some people tried to reach out to us during that, and we weren't able to take all the calls. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Holly Mack just sent some pictures. Some of these look like AI images. Honestly, I holy cow. Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Holly Mack, that's like that is like ground zero for the Northern Lights, and it is absolutely incredible. I saw a faint glow. I could see a faint glow visually with my eyes, and with the camera, it picked up the purple hue, and that was it. That was it. I did go out and get my 3 trees picture. I might show that to you, but it's not very impressive. It's not as good as I thought. Man, so many beautiful pictures. Oh my goodness, who is this? Kristen, oh my goodness. Kristen had beautiful red, like deep magenta view. Rural South Carolina. You also had a better view than me. Being more rural helps. I have like, from my 3 trees picture, I had a better view from my house than I did for the 3 trees. The 3 trees has like the lights of Greenville in the background, like reflected off in the sky. So it wasn't amazing, but all right, we're gonna jump down to court so we don't miss a moment of that. Let's teleport with me. Boom, there we go. And now that we're here, there are a couple things to do. Well, I think I want to bring it in on a different camera. Wait. We need our counter up because we're up to 112 on the judge buffering counter. Where did my selector go? There it is. All right. Boom. On air. Verbal buffer, 112. Oh, before I forget, I ran to the post office last night because Paula Mack said, you've got something there. And many of you know that I have had this screaming goat for some time now. I was not the first to have a screaming goat. Obviously, I think Mike Mike from Chicago, Law Talk with Mike had one first, I think. And a lot of other people have a goat, but this goat is mine. And I've loved it, and it's loved you. I didn't realize until I went to the post office yesterday that this goat might be lonely. And sure enough, he was. And thanks to Paula Mack, the goat now has a friend. So we have goat number 1 and goat number 2. Goat number 2 is a festive goat, a Christmas goat, wearing a Christmas sweater and a bell and a Santa Claus hat. And I have to say, goat number 2 is the louder of the 2 goats. So now we have 2 screaming goats, and they can yell at each other, and they already look happier, which is just wonderful. So thank you very much. If you also need a screaming Christmas goat, I'm going to send you a link really quickly where you can get one, because holy cow, it's a tiny bit louder and a little bit higher pitch, but it's like the same yell. It's like you can tell it's from the same goat family. Screaming Christmas goat. There it is. And I'm going to get you the link right here. We'll put it in chat. Oh, you can get 3 for the price of 2. It's on sale, guys. Here we go. Christmas goat. Right there. There you go. We do need 2 screaming goats for this trial. So I think they'll take turns screaming so they don't lose their voice. There's the Christmas goat link right here. That is an Amazon affiliate link. And just so you know, if you buy it, it doesn't cost you anymore, but I think Amazon will give me a couple pennies for each goat you buy. Those pennies do add up. We might be able to get a couple dollars if a lot of you buy screaming goats. So don't think that is, hopefully it's not a money grab on my part to get those pennies from you. I will also say, fun fact, if you buy other things on Amazon, after clicking on that link, Amazon will also thank me for sending you over for those things as well. So if you happen to click on the Christmas goat and then you go out and you buy a Blackmagic Design 8K video switcher with a full studio deck, which I think is $36,000, I would probably make a little bit more than a few pennies. Right, so just keep that in mind. All right, we get the cross today of Scott Ashley. Yes, we do. Oh, I'm not sure where we're going right now. I'm feeling dizzy. Okay, we have Scott on the stand. I think we get a little more direct, and then cross. We might go straight to direct. I would like to see a little bit more direct from him, just so you get a comparison side by side of how he responds to the prosecution and how he responds to the defense. Because we already know he doesn't like his mom. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even say mom. He says Melody, which is her first given name. And there's a lot of love lost, I guess you could say, between the two of them. There used to be love. It's not there anymore. It's been lost. And it could get spicy. It could get very spicy, because all along, with every witness, the state has been trying to point the finger of blame for this crime at Scott. He is not charged. It's not his trial. But that's basically, they're saying he's the most likely culprit, really, when you look at all the people. And so that's going to come out a little bit, and Scott will be defending himself and explaining his own actions and trying to justify what he has done and why he had 38 caliber, 38 special ammunition in his drawer, and why he knew there was a gun involved before anyone knew that the gun was used, and all those things. Those are going to come out here today, and it's going to be quite spicy. Tipsy Gypsy. Yes, there are some slow moments in this case, and I will say it has some unique Southern type things that are going on here. You see a lot of really cool things that are distinct to Georgia, maybe I guess we can say. One of them is a laid-back approach in questioning, and maybe, I don't know, if you were to just shoot the breeze with a neighbor and sitting on the porch, drinking lemonade in the sun, enjoying the humidity, you might talk about just about anything. And the lawyers do that with the witnesses. We have heard a lot of stuff that is not relevant to the case, and we have not heard a lot of evidence that would be relevant to the case. So we're hoping that comes later. And yeah, let's see. Ontario, oh my goodness. Thamesville, Ontario. Beautiful pictures. Thank you very much. Grant, Michigan. I'm getting more and more pictures. Let's see. Angela says check email. I will do that. Check my email once a month, whether I need to or not, usually, but I will check it on special request here for you. Checking email. FCC still has not renewed my license. They're 2 days late. Guess you mean that different email. Let's see. What's an Instagram link? I love these. Let's see what. Oh! Angela just says, something I think your kids might need. And she sent a picture of, I'm just going to show it this way. This might be hard to see. Let me hit this button, then you can see it. There we go. It's going to zoom in on this. This is a lady who might be more mature in years, sitting on a recliner, holding what looks to be the Gatling gun of all Gatling guns in the Nerf War Division. She's strapped. She's ready to go. She's ready to pull that trigger and just destroy someone. Oh my goodness. Hang on, stop. I just saw this picture. I have to scroll up and see who it is every time because my phone will not remember who the phone. This was my coworker's view. Looks amazing. This was my view. The my view part matches me a little bit better. I have to see who this is. I have to scroll up. It helps if you periodically, when you send me a text, just include your name on your text. Let's see. Karina? Yes, it's Karina. Okay, thank you, Karina. I had to scroll up until I saw a name in the exchange. Great news, by the way. Great news. I went to the AT&T store. And I said, look, I've heard all these wonderful things about a deal that's going on right now with phones because my phone is not behaving the way it should. Fractured, thank you for the pictures as well. Those look good. I love the green and the blue in that. I might try to put them together and show everybody. Anyway, I went to the AT&T store a couple days ago and said, I heard you have this great deal on getting a new iPhone. And they're like, well, what iPhone do you have right now? I said, I've got the 12 Pro, which is an old phone. And it's a good phone. I've loved it. It has been the burner phone all these years. And it's been my personal phone all these years. And it has never been dropped. Well, it's never been chipped or cracked. It just still works. I've never broken a phone. I shouldn't say this. I've never broken a phone. I've never dropped one and cracked a screen. iPads, on the other hand, we go through. I've got a shattered one next to me right now that I still use because it works. But my phones, I always buy a case for it, and I've never broken one. So I went there and they checked it out, and they said, sure enough, it qualifies for this program where basically you get the new phone free, which is like $1,000, and you just turn in my old phone. I'm like, that is a steal. So I signed up. I said, let's do it. They're like, all right, okay, we'll mail it to you in a couple of weeks because we're sold out. I'm like, okay, well, that's probably because the deal was really good. So that's awesome. Anyway, so a new burner phone on the way, and thanks for my old eyes, it's a bigger phone. I got the big one, like iPhone 16 Pro Max Extra Large Easy Read Edition. That's the one I signed up for. So for you guys, the burner phone will still be the same. The numbers are the same. Nothing's changing. But it will just work better, which I'm excited about. As soon as the 16 was announced, the battery on my XR started tanking. It's funny how that works. It's funny how that works. I wouldn't put it past Apple to do that intentionally. You got the iPhone 13. I am jealous. I've got the 12, but I will upgrade. And one of the things, do you need to sign a contract for 3 years? Probably. But if you can end it early if you pay for the phone outright, which I intend to do right away. I know that gets rid of the bonus, but I always like paying for my phone just because I don't know what's going to happen down the road, and I might not be able to be locked into a contract. So, yes, I do have the double wide edition coming to me. I will need to get bigger pockets in my pants to carry the phone because it looks somewhat like the iPad. But the iPhone 8 squad, says Weatherwatch. Thomas, I don't know how it even works for you on the iPhone 8. After a few years, Apple just stops working, and I think it's intentional. How do you even get the battery replaced on that thing? Do they make batteries for that anymore? Or do you just keep a supply of them on hand? Candace, that would have been the smarter move a long time ago, but now that I've completely sold my soul to the Apple ecosystem, I just can't get out. I'm stuck in over my head. Is it an iPhone or an iPad mini? Looks about the same. Thank you for being at the podcast. It was so much fun. I loved being on there with my wife. I missed Thomas, although he was there with us a little bit. I appreciate him so much. He does so much to make the podcast possible. But it was a lot of fun being there with my wife. And I got to answer questions she's had for me and never asked all these years. So, like, where does the money come from? That was a funny question. We're going to watch Haley's court appearance today. Yes, today should be, fingers crossed, the final appearance. Because the news that we can't announce yet might be announced today. And if it's not told in full, we will share it with you ourselves. Set an alarm for 1 p.m. Yes, I'll do that. That's why I'm setting up multiple feeds on this, so I'll be able to have all the recording happen that we need to have. And you know what? I'm going to record that as well. No, I'm not. I'm just going to leave it. We're good. The reason why I switched, to the latest iPhone is mostly because of Hurricane Helene. I kid you not. I only heard because of Hurricane Helene that the latest iPhones, if you are completely without cell coverage, will allow text messages to transfer through satellite instead, which means the satellite system would have to go down for you to lose coverage. So in an emergency, you can get text messages out via satellite, just included. It just works. And I said, that is something that's worth it for me. That's worth it for me. So between the iPhone, it coming hopefully before I get deployed, because we're still waiting on word on our deployment to go help over there. There's going to be months of work of cleanup. But when we get deployed out there to the hurricane hit areas, hopefully that will arrive. Hopefully the boots that I've ordered that will protect my feet from all the pokies on the ground will get here as well. I've already got some of the cargo pants. Yes, I wear cargo pants. I'm that old. I do. Those have arrived. I need mosquito. I've got mosquito repellent. I've got a hat. I've got my radios. 2 more radios arrive tomorrow. I showed you 3 radios. This radio, which I showed you before, I actually broke many years ago. So it has a clip on it, but the battery slides up right here. But the battery doesn't stay in there. You have to put the battery in and then wrap the whole thing with tape for it to work. So it was actually cheaper to buy a new radio than just to fix this one. So All right, quick couple things. Nicole Watson, welcome to the gallery. Rosebud, member for 13 months, says Lucky 13. Love it here with y'all. Thank you very much, Rosebud. Wouldn't be the same without you. Green-Eyed Cat, 1 membership gifted this morning. Thank you very much for kicking that off. I appreciate that, Green-Eyed Cat, for your generosity. Danny Austin says, greetings from me and the guys at work. Hello, guys at work. Danny's awesome. Give him a raise. Crystal H, member for 7 months, says 7 months of true entertainment from RA and the judges and the defense as well as, of course. Thanks, Mods and RA, for providing great space for us. Crystal, thank you so much. Diane, welcome to the gallery. Love that green courthouse by your name. Zimmy gifted a membership as well. Thank you, Zimmy. All right. Judge, are you ready to kick things off today with spiciness? Because we've had some slow days. We don't want that to be today. Yes, Selena K is the internet winner. Thank you, Ashley. Unless she regifted it to someone else, which I did not see. Judge has elbow patches on his robe. I love it.
All right, y'all ready to get started?
Yes, we are, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead and bring them in.
Bring them in. Round them up. Bring them in. Whip them into shape.
You will bring the jury.
Anyway, so this radio, which was my personal one, I broke when I dropped it. So I bought a new one exactly like it. And I can use the battery from the broken one on the new one. This is the new one. It looks exactly like it. And then this is my wife's old one. And then I bought 2 more. I'm not sure why I bought 2 more. Other than that, they were on sale. They came with like 2 spare batteries, spare antennas, and they were cheap. Judge is reading chat right now. What's that on his neck? What am I looking at? Oh, that's just his shirt on the back of the... Okay, I see that. He's got like a flannel shirt on underneath, I think. Or at least like a lumberjack shirt. Yeah, it is. Look at that. He's just chilling.
I guess they got lost, or they're being unruly and don't want to line up in order. I don't know.
I'll give you the goat link one more time. This is the Christmas goat link right there in chat. Lori Jean. It's right. It's right here. You have to click it before it goes off the screen. Right there. Is Judge going to order a screaming goat? That would be great. It's plaid, but not a cotton flannel fleece. Those plaid shirts have pearly buttons. They're a southern version of respectable daily wear. The pearl buttons, the pearlized buttons are really cool. Let's look and see if we can see a pearl button. I don't think the top button is pearlized. I think it's just the others. Diane, thank you for being here. Lurker since Terrell Brooks, which is the beginning. Long time follower.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Police Court, Counsel. Scott, remind you you're still in road, okay?
Yes, sir.
Bite me. When we get a break, remind me again. I'll see if I can show it.
On your computer screen there should be Aerial 3. And I'm putting the cursor of the hand over. Is this the house there?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, now, what I want to do is I'm going to try your dad's office, those 2 doors, what I call the American doors, and the French door on the back side. Is that right?
Yes.
And then if you walked out those doors and turned left, is that you're walking to the burn pile?
Yes, you will be.
And this is Aerial 8. Now, do you know, can you give us an estimate how far is it, the burn pile from the kind of the edge of the house? How far a walk is that?
I would probably say maybe 70 to 80 yards, give or take.
And what is the path, like the RTVs and the tractors? You said your dad would grade or rake around the burn pile? Or would he use the tractor to put stuff on the burn pile?
He would use the tractor to put stuff on the burn pile, and couldn't really rake with it because it's such a steep incline. It would just be hard to maneuver the tractor.
Is there a path that's been made from the RTV or the tractor in that area of the woods?
Yeah, so there's a path that you could go from the driveway behind the house and go all the way around to be able to gain access to the the dam on the pond, or go back there where the burn pile was.
When you look at aerial A, this photograph, so if you come up the driveway into the garage, I think y'all had chickens and birds on a chicken coop over here.
Yes, it was connected to the shed.
And then down by the barn where there's some other areas for birds or whatnot?
Yeah, we had another chicken coop up there.
Okay, so 2 chicken coops on the house, on the property?
Yes.
But you go to get there with like a tractor RTV, would you go around, would you go to the left of the chicken coop or in between the chicken coop and the house?
You would go to the left of it.
Inez, that's funny. Thanks for donating blood. Still on direct. We should be finishing up this morning, though.
So is this the chicken coop? This is Thrasher 61. Is this what we're talking about? You come to the left side of that?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to this time I'm tuning to evidence, which is we've labeled as S Ferris 11. It's a blown up photograph on a pin board.
All right. Any objection?
No objection.
Judge, with your permission, I'd like for Scott to step down, and I'm going to have him in a ode to Jonathan Kessler. I'm going to have him use the push pin.
All right.
All right, Mr. Ferris.
Jonathan Kessler?
What I want you to do, I'm going to give you this red push pin. Just kind of, I know you can't see it, but just kind of estimation so the jury can turn just a little bit.
We're playing pin the tail on the donkey? What are we doing?
Put that pin about where the fire pit would be, the burn pile.
So roughly from this angle, you're kind of right under this tree right here.
So you've marked the red push pin kind of just from the house, a line that goes out to the woods. You're estimating that about there is where the burn pile is?
Yes, sir.
Now where's the trail camera? Because I thought that's where the trail camera was.
Judge, we'll take a picture of that and put it into the record at some point. I left off yesterday.
Snap a picture with his phone.
Talking about the timeline. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, July 3rd and July 4th. And we talked about where you were at on those days. I want to now turn your attention and start talking about Thursday, July 5th of 2018. About what time do you remember getting up that morning?
Do you remember?
It had to have been somewhere around maybe 8:30 to 9 o'clock. I don't really remember the exact time.
What were your plans that day?
My plans were go ahead and take care of animals, and then I was going to go and get my hair cut and then meet my buddy Ted at the PGA store.
Did y'all, a day or so before or sometime get a connection with somebody at the PGA store?
Yes, I believe it was the weekend prior to all this that we play golf with some friends at the Manor Golf Club, and one of the guys we played with, he works for TaylorMade, and he works out of the PGA store down in Roswell, and he was going to go and have me get into a simulator to get fitted for clubs my size, because I'm a tall guy, so I have to have extended clubs.
So where were you actually going? Where was the store at you're going to drive to?
It's down off of Holcomb Bridge, off of 400 in Roswell.
Who's going to go with you?
Ted was.
And what's Ted's full name?
I'm I'm sorry, I have a hard time actually pronouncing his real name. It's Theodophilus is his real name, but we call him Ted.
Okay, what's his last name?
Pierce.
How long have you known Ted?
Going up on close to 10 years.
Good friend?
Yes.
Know anyone else in his family?
His entire family, his mother and sister.
And how close are you today?
I've actually known his sister Randy a lot longer, over 10 years now, and I met Ted and their mother pretty much the same time, and they're Alabama fans, and we always watch football together, and they're like my second family.
And did you have their numbers in your phone?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what you labeled his mom's number as?
I believe it's Mom Pierce.
And were they involved with you at the lake and things like that?
Yes, sir.
When you got up, at some point that morning, did you leave to go to the PGA store? Did you get in your truck and take off down the driveway?
Yeah, so after I got done taking care of all the animals and everything was situated for the day, I got in my truck to start heading out, and I happened to notice that my youngest sister, Amanda, her vehicle was over there, so I decided to pull up over there to say hi to her.
Yeah. Did you see her or just her vehicle?
I didn't see her at first until I pulled up into the house driveway, and I saw her sitting with Melody on the front porch.
This is Thrasher 2. When you say front porch, is this what you're talking about?
Yes, right there where the front door is.
Oh, yeah, I should turn the TV back on.
It is a beautiful house. Not sure if it gets enough rain to justify that pitch of roof, but.
All right, on Thrasher 2 here, this area where the hand is, where were they sitting? Did you just have chairs or something, or?
Well, you see the window right there? Yes, right there.
Right here?
Yes, there's a rocking chair right there, and they were both sitting in that area.
When you saw them, what did you do?
I got out of my truck and walked up to them.
When you walked up, did you notice what they were doing?
And it looked like they're sitting there talking.
What were their demeanors like?
At first glance, before talking to them, I mean, it seemed normal.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
No, I did not see anything.
When you walked up, what were you planning on doing? Just saying hi, or?
Yeah, just said, hi to my sister. I think I haven't seen her since my dad's birthday party.
Was she there to pick up Cameron?
I used to sell roofing.
That I didn't know. I didn't know the kids were there.
When you walked up, did you start talking to them?
Yes, I did.
What y'all talking about?
Asked an answer.
The very first thing I was asked is, have you seen your father?
Who asked you that?
I want to say it was Melody.
Did you think anything about that at the moment?
I mean, when she asked me that, I was like, well, no. And then she said, well, we can't find him. I go, what do you mean you can't find him? They're like, well, he's not in the house. And I looked and I said, well, his Mercedes is right there in the garage. The RTV is parked right there in the driveway. He's got to be here.
Where was the RTV parked? Do you remember?
It was parked, I know there's like a little parking spot right here where the concrete is.
Before you get to the garage?
Yes. So if you're pulling up to the house, it would have just been right there to the right.
Just kind of a pull in, is that what it is?
Yes.
His car's at the house, RTV's there. Why'd you think that was odd if all that was there?
Well, I mean, if they're saying that he's not in the house, there's only going to be two things he's going to either be on or be in, and that was on the RTV or he's gone in his car.
Would your dad just kind of disappear? Was that something normal would happen?
No.
Did he take many business trips or anything?
Not really. I mean, he, would always let me know if he was going to be, going somewhere with clients, or if he was definitely going to be gone like overnight, he would have said something to somebody.
When was the last time you had seen your dad?
At Cherokee Ranch on the 3rd.
Once your mom asked that question, did she ask anything else or do anything else?
There was a lot of questions. Once from there, we tried to figure out where he could have possibly gone.
Did you ask her about the CPAP?
Eventually, yes. I did ask. I was like, well, have you checked to see if a CPAP machine is here?
What did she say to that?
And she said, no, I haven't checked.
Did you ask what all people have, where they went to check for him, or how long they've been looking for him, or anything like that?
If I asked them that,
Yeah.
I really don't remember.
Was there any indication about how long, if she asked, have you seen your father, was there any indication that they had been looking for him, or how long he'd been missing, or anything?
Well, to me, it seemed like they were, at some point trying to look for him, because they told me, we can't find your father.
What time of day would this have been when you're up there with him, this started?
Thank you, Kylie.
Roughly, I'll probably say around 10 o'clock in the morning.
What'd y'all do after that? Was there more conversation, or what happened?
Yeah, we sat there and, try to figure out where he possibly could be. I know one of them asked if I saw him up at the barn. I was like, no, I was just up there. I didn't see him. And I said, the RTV's here. He's not going to walk up to the barn. He's going to drive that. I was like, he's got to be here. And man, all that from that day, that conversation is, I don't remember every single detail of those, what was asked and where,
How do you remember how long y'all stood there and just talked about it before you did anything?
I didn't keep time of it, but it seemed like a good 5 to 10 minutes, trying to figure out where he could have gone.
Was there any panic or any type of high energy, or anybody trying to do something really quick, or what was the mood of everybody at that time?
At that time, I didn't notice anybody panicking. I started to, get worried, because I was worried that, I hope something didn't happen to him, where he had like a heart attack or something. But I do know after I asked her if the CPAP machine was still here, and she said, I haven't checked. I said, well, let me go down and check. And I went down to the basement and checked to see if the CPAP machine was there, and it was still sitting beside his bed. I think also before I went down, we discussed about if he could have gone, shooting with a client, either skeet shooting or bird hunting.
Did he do that a lot?
He would do that not a lot, but at least, once or twice a year.
When it comes to your dad just leaving, going somewhere, not really telling anybody, in the last 6 months, how many times do you think he had done that? Up to the 6 months before this?
Leave and not tell anybody?
Right.
Well, he always told me, especially if Melody wasn't there, if she's gone up in Tennessee, he would, let me know, hey, I'm going to be coming home late, or, I got, this work event or something like that.
How many times in the previous 6 months up to this day did your dad go somewhere like that? I'm trying to get a feel for how many times he would just go somewhere and not be at the house.
I really don't remember, because he didn't leave. He didn't do stuff like that much. He literally went to work all the time and came home every single day. So it wasn't often that he did that.
Would it be less than 5, less than 10, less than 20?
Less than 5 times, if anything.
And how long would he be gone if he did leave?
I know occasionally he went to go, see his mother, who was in a assisted living or, nursing home type deal.
When he left, would he take an Uber?
No, he always drove his own vehicle.
So his vehicle would be with him if he left?
Yes.
Did he exclusively drive that Mercedes and not the Toyota or anything like that?
No, the Mercedes was his vehicle.
And when he left, would he take a CPAP machine?
If he was going to be gone overnight, yes, he would have taken a CPAP.
The one that was beside the bed, that would be missing?
Yes, sir.
Did you ask your mom when the last time she had seen your dad when you're sitting there on the porch talking?
I believe I did. I mean,
Do you remember when she said last time she saw him?
I want to say she would have said on the 3rd.
On the 3rd. Did you ask her whether or not he had come and got something to eat, or she made food for him, or anything like that?
Like I said, I don't remember every single detail of that, but that probably I would have asked that question because my dad texts me all the time about getting food.
See whether or not your dad had gone one of the previous nights to go get something to eat from somewhere or anything like that?
I don't remember anything of that.
At some point, your dad's wallet appeared. Is that right?
Yes.
And that, to you, was that odd?
So I know prior to that, my dad would never leave the house, without his wallet. So I think I asked, at some point, it's like, well, have you seen his wallet? Because it's like a process of elimination. I think the first thing anybody would ask is, well, is the wallet still here? And then she said, no, I haven't seen it. There was only one place my dad ever would have left his wallet.
Where's that?
And that would have been on the dresser in the master bedroom. Because he still used the master bedroom. He slept downstairs, but, he showered and changed and everything upstairs in the master bathroom.
Did the defendant ever have his wallet on this day?
So I remember her asking if she'd seen his wallet. She said no and all. And then, I started asking about like the CPAP machine, and then I said, I'll go check, see if that's down there. I'll see if the shotgun he would have used to go bird hunting or skeet shooting is, down there. Because it was both in the same room. And just, I found it odd that she didn't ask, she didn't go check to see if the CPAP machine was there.
Do you remember whether or not she said do you remember whether or not she brought the wallet or had the wallet at all?
So I remember after going down and checking on that, I came back up and she had his wallet in his hand. And I said, where'd you find that? And she said it was in his console of his Mercedes. And that really struck me odd because my dad never left his wallet in the Mercedes.
Why is that?
Because he just always had it in his pocket. He never, it was a habit of him. He never left it. I have a habit of leaving mine, but he never did.
That shotgun,
what we're talking about.
the silver pigeon shotgun that he used.
Yes, sir, that's it.
$2,600 shotgun.
Either on him or where he?
Nice one.
It would have been on the dresser in the bedroom, right next to the door that leads into the master bathroom.
Was it common for your dad to let your mom have the wallet?
I mean, he would never hand it to her, but he didn't, lock it up and secure it.
Josh, thank you very much. One of our great mods. Congratulations on 8 months.
Talking about the 2 cell phones of your mom, did you tell law enforcement about the 2 cell phones?
Yes.
Did your mom ever mention anything to you about the cell phone was Sherry's cell phone?
I do not ever remember that, no.
Tell the jury, all right, you're on the front porch, this is going on. Do you ever get kind of perturbed or upset with your mom or ask her why she hasn't done certain things? Do y'all start talking about, what have you done or why have you done these things?
I mean, I probably would have, said when I asked about the CPAP machine, I go, why wouldn't you go check that? I mean, that's a big thing. If he was going to be gone overnight, he's going to be taking that.
Where all did you go look again? Where'd you start looking? Where'd you go from there? Let's start in the house. Where all in the house did you go?
I believe I went into first the master bedroom to check to see if his wallet was there. And then I think I left from there and went down to the basement and checked for his CPAP machine and see if the shotgun was sitting in the closet.
Didn't see any signs of him or anything in the
No,
house?
sir.
Did anybody start helping you look for your father?
Once, I know Chris arrived at some point. I don't really remember when he did, but after going down into the basement and checking that stuff, I came back up and said, yeah, everything's still down there. I said, I'll go over here, I'll go back up to the barn and check around there. So I started searching the property because, like I said, at this point I was worried that, he would have gone out and, had a heart attack or something, or fell down, something like that, medical-wise.
Do you know where your mom and Amanda, your sister, do you know what they were doing while you were looking for your dad?
I just know they were together pretty much the whole entire time.
Did anybody get on the RTV and start running around looking for him?
I know I jumped on it to ride back up to the barn to check, see if he might have been up around there. And, once I checked up around the house and all, I noticed the tractor was parked not where we would have parked it for, overnight. And I actually went down and checked around there because I saw the tractor sitting there and it was right at the manure pile. And so I checked around the manure pile to make sure he wasn't laying down around that.
You see on your screen there, Stewart 12, this is a photograph's already been admitted. Is this where you found the tractor?
Yes, sir, it was.
Now, the manure pile, you're talking about this pile right in front of it?
Yes, sir.
Was there anything, was that odd that the tractor was parked there?
Yeah, because it never would have been really left there. The only time we would have brought it down there is to churn over the manure pile because it was, compost.
You mean turn it over, not just push the pile, but actually turn it over?
You mean we'll go scoop it, kind of toss in a salad.
But not leave, you wouldn't leave the tractor right there? Would your dad leave the tractor right there?
No.
Would the tractor be parked where I'm pointing up here?
Yes, right behind that blue wheelbarrow.
After you saw the tractor and you were down at the bar, where did you go?
So I've continued to, search around there. Didn't see him there or inside the barn. So I hopped back on the RTV and went back around to the house. And once again, I still don't remember if Chris was there or not. And I really don't remember where Amanda and Melody were standing at that moment. But I just started searching, around the other shed where the chicken coop was. Looked in the shed, make sure he wasn't in there. I was just, starting my process of checking the property.
How much of the property do you think everyone covered looking for your dad?
Man, I believe every, square foot of the property was covered.
Did you check the front property too, the fields and pastures and things like that, or where all did you go?
I mean, yeah, I'll look. It's all wide open, so there's no grass. I always had the grass cut at that time, so it wasn't tall. So if he was laying in the pasture, I would have been able to see him.
When your dad was making the burn pile or stacking it or working on it, where would the RTV usually be if he was out there doing something like that?
Within, 5 to 10 feet of that burn pile.
And where would your dad normally park the RTV in relation to his where he would stay in the basement?
So if he went to his office, it would have been, kind of parked right up there next to the house, or he'd just hop off and only take a few steps to get into his office.
Do you remember your mom saying anything about whether or not she moved the RTV?
No, I don't really remember.
Did you find anything odd about the RTV or anything like that? Or
no, not with the RTV. I mean, like I said, I saw it parked in the driveway when I got there, and that was, one indication. I was like, well, he's got to be here.
Talking about your tractor, is it difficult to drive that?
Absolutely not.
How do you make the tractor go forward, and how do you make it go backwards?
So that tractor right there, one of the reasons why my dad wanted to purchase that is because it was so easy to drive. You didn't have to shift gears or anything like that. So the pedal on it is like a C. So you would hit on the top part of it and it will go forward, and you hit on the bottom part of it and it will go in reverse.
This is Shaw 259. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Tell the jury how it worked. If you put your foot on that pedal there on the right, there, top kind of middle of the photograph, how would that work?
So you can see the bigger foot pedal right there.
Yes.
Yes, that's where you would push, and the tractor will go forward.
And if you want to go backwards,
you hit on that section.
You don't have to change gears or anything like that, or have two transmissions or anything?
No.
Did you know if your mom could drive the tractor?
Oh yeah, she definitely knew how to use it. She was using it just a couple days prior to the 3rd.
In relation to the burn pile where you've marked, did you ever go up that area and look at the trail camera or anything like that?
Yeah, so actually it was Melody who asked me when we were, I don't remember exactly when, but it was still, we were either back on the front porch, but she asked me, she asked if I still had that trail camera down there. I was like, oh yeah, let me, I'll go check it. So I don't remember if I hopped on the RTV or I walked down there, but I went down there and checked the trail camera and saw no indication of my dad being on it.
What did you do with the trail camera while you were there?
I checked whatever pictures were on it. I know there might have been a couple of animals. I want to say I saw a picture of Amanda and Melody walking, but it was mainly animals, but I saw no indication of my dad walking by or anybody who didn't, was in my family.
Did you see anything suspicious on it?
No.
Did you delete the things off the camera?
I did, because it's just, natural habit. This, like I said, this is prior to us discovering my dad's remains. So every single time I ever went to go check my trail camera, I always delete, just kind of free up the SD card, because I use it for deer hunting, and if I have a doe walking by, I'm not gonna want to save it. I want to save whatever bucks.
And the camera again was pointing down into the woods away from the burn pile?
Yes, it was pointing towards my neighbor's property.
How long, I'll ask you about finding your father's remains. How long do you think you were looking before you went to the burn pile? Did y'all walk by before? Did you get close to it before? Or?
Well, I had to go by it to go down there and check the trail camera. I didn't even think to look at the fire. Didn't even cross my mind. And I know I came back up and let them know there was nothing on it. And then I said, well, I'm going to go and check on the other side of the pond, walk across the dam and go check down over there on that side of the property. Because it was rare if he did it, but he did it every once in a while. He would go on that section of the property because it was a little tight to drive the RTV down there.
Now this is Shaw 2 here, and this is the burn pile we're talking about?
Yes.
At some point, ultimately, you did find the remains of your father, is that right?
Yes. How I found it, like I said, I was going to check the other side of the pond on, across the dam. And I started walking that way, and I believe I got either halfway across the dam or got to the other side. and then Melody called me. And she called me and asked, have you thrown a dead goat on the burn pile? I'm like, no, we haven't had anything to die, and also I wouldn't throw it on the burn pile. And she said, well, come up here and look at this. So I was like, okay. Well, I turned around and started walking, and I see Amanda walking. She was almost kind of like right in front of my dad's office, coming from the burn pile area, walking back up towards the driveway. She was walking there, and Melody was standing over near the burn pile. And I walk up and look, and I can already start seeing bones. And then I look down, and it appeared to me that it was the inside of a skull. The backside was gone, and you could see like the little blood vessels, I think it was, but it didn't look like. So I grabbed a very, very small corner of it, and I lifted it up just enough to where I saw teeth and the eye socket, and I immediately put it right back. And I was crouched down, and she was standing right there next to me, and I raise up, I put my hand on across her chest and push her back and go, these are human remains. I am calling 911 right now. Nobody's allowed down here. And at that same time, that's when I noticed Chris was there, and he was coming around the back side of the house with the girls on the RTV. And I walked right up to him, and I said, get those girls out of here right now. I'm calling 911. And I pretty much, my brother would have argued with me on anything like that. And I believe just the look on my face and everything, he didn't second question me. He's like, okay. And he turned around and pulled off with the girls, and I called 911.
When you called 911, do you even remember what you said to them?
I believe that, they called and they asked, did the normal routine, and said, hey, I was like, it was along the lines of, we've been searching for my dad, and after searching, we came across some remains in a burn pile. And I said, I was deployed to Iraq. I've seen bodies burned up. And it's like, this definitely looks like a burned up body. We need somebody out here now.
Were you thinking it was your dad?
Pretty much by that point, yeah, because there was nobody else who it could have been, and my dad was missing. I mean, my dad didn't have any enemies. There was nobody who, we never really had strangers walking across our property. Never once that I've ever catch anybody on our property. So it was, within an instant, I knew that this was 99% sure this was my dad.
After you called 911, what'd you do?
I remember I got off the phone with them, and I walked up to the driveway. I don't remember if I went on the back side of the house or the pond side of the house, but I came back up to the driveway, and Amanda was standing there in the driveway. And I walked up to her and said, Amanda, this is not good. She's like, what are you talking about? I go, there's human remains in that burn pile. I've called 911. The police are on their way. But I was like, Amanda, this is not good. And she just kept saying, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And that's all I remember telling her that. And then I don't remember who I let know, but I said, I'm going to go meet, who's ever coming up at the driveway at the road, so they know where to exactly come to. And I started to walk up towards the road.
What was Amanda like at this time?
At that time, once I told her about finding the remains, that's when she, you know, was somebody who act like, you know, they just found out something bad happened, especially to a loved one. It was kind of like she was shaking and, you know, like I said, she's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And like almost in tears.
What was your mom doing?
As in what?
How was she acting? What was she doing? What'd you see
Never
her do?
saw any kind of emotion out of her.
Did you see
She
what
didn't get
did?
angry with anybody, and she showed no. I didn't notice any of her freaking out or anything like that. The only time that I saw her actually try to kind of show some emotion is after the deputy and the paramedic came back up from the burn pile to say, "Yes, those are human remains." And then just the way that she started acting, I've seen my mother cry. I mean, hundreds of times throughout my life and all. And it appeared to me to be fake. Like, this wasn't her emotions. Her reaction to finding out her, you know, mom had a heart attack and her dad dying and, you know, anything bad happened like that. It was a complete different reaction to what she reacted to when the paramedic and deputy said, "Yes, those were human remains."
Up until that point, has she cried or anything?
No.
Did she come up to you and ask you a lot of questions or anything?
When?
Before, after finding the remains and before law enforcement got there, was she asking you questions or saying anything to anybody?
I really don't remember, because after, you know, I talked to Amanda, because I was heading in that direction. I knew I was going to meet them at the end of the driveway up at the road. And that's where I saw Amanda, and I let Amanda know. After I let Amanda know, I continued walking down the driveway to go meet either the police or paramedics that were coming. So I walked up to the end of the road, and from there, no, I don't remember her ever talking to me during that time.
At some point, did your feelings change or suspicion arise about something's afoot here?
I knew I felt something was very off. There was red flags prior to finding my dad. Her having his wallet. I remember at one point she said that she had the credit card that the one my dad gave me and said, "Never, hold on to this like your life depended on it." Because there was a lot of times my dad said, "Don't ever give her the credit card." And she had it. And I remember asking her, I go, "How do you have this?" She goes, "Well, your father gave it to me." And I knew that was a straight up lie. I mean, y'all have seen it in the text messages that he, said for me to hold on to that credit card.
Did you start talking about a gun?
So,
a pistol.
So prior to all this happening, I want to say it was in June. I don't remember, it was like the first week of June or the second week of June. We had an AT&T guy come out and do some work with the satellites and all. There was an issue or something. And Melody was gone. She was in Tennessee. And my dad had to go to work. He sent me a text one morning and said, "Hey, the guys are coming today. I want you to come over here and I'll show you what's going on." So when they got there, we were working down in the basement. The TV that's in front of the leather chair and all, because right next to it is a closet that actually had the main satellite box, and a lot of those components in there was the the home theater components, but the main box for the satellite was in that closet. But he said he needed the remote to the TV in the basement room right there in front of the bar area. So I started searching the drawers because we only use the satellite remote to turn on and off the TV, but he needed the actual TV remote. So I started searching the drawers and the furniture around in that room. First checked under the TV, didn't see it in there, and then there was a piece of furniture behind the couch, and I opened it and I saw a revolver and a leather holster, and I looked at it and I could tell it was a 38 special snub nose. I was like, I've never seen that one before. And didn't really think anything of it because, my whole life we've always had guns. So
this was in June of 2018.
Yes, this is like either the middle of June or the beginning of June, somewhere in there. So it was just a few weeks prior to my dad's death.
How much of the gun did you see?
I looked at it enough that that I knew roughly what type of gun it was.
Do you know guns?
I'm fairly knowledgeable. Can't name every single gun that's ever been made, but I know the difference between a rifle, a shotgun, and a semi-automatic handgun and a revolver. And
describe this gun that you saw.
So I definitely remember it being in like a old leather holster. I can't really remember the type of handle, but it wasn't what you call a blue finish, which is that dark black color. It was more of like nickel chrome type look.
Do you remember the handle or anything about it?
No, I don't remember the handle. Like I said, I don't remember the color of the handle.
For the jury, if you were standing outside those, what I call again the American doors, if you're outside looking into where the couches and the ottoman and everything is, where you're dead, or you would hang out and eat dinner.
Okay.
If you walk into the doors, tell the jury where this drawer or this dresser or whatever it is where you found this.
So if I would have had my back to the door, the couch would have been right in front of me, and that piece of furniture would have been right here to my right.
Seems convenient that he doesn't remember the handle. That's a similar thing that other people have said, like Chris's wife. Or Chris, I don't remember. It's like they've
when you found the
shared
gun,
their
what
stories.
did you do with it?
I didn't do anything with it.
Did you touch it, pick it up, move it, or just look at it?
I kind of maybe grabbed enough to kind of like look at it, but I did not pull it out of the drawer because I had the AT&T guy in the basement with me. I didn't want to freak him out. But no, I never really fully picked it up and looked at it.
I want to know how he knew it was a 38 special without pulling it out of the holster.
So yeah, that would have been the piece of furniture, the lamp there.
The holster
right
covers.
here, this is Thrasher 226.
Yes, that was the piece of furniture that I saw it in on the top drawer.
The holster covers the
So
caliber
this is
markings.
the sliding doors coming in being on the right.
Yes, sir.
When did you start? Why did you start thinking about this gun? What made you think about gun, and who did you start telling about this gun?
When?
On the 5th.
On the 5th? So after, talking with her and, the comments that she's made previously, everything was just, I was getting red flags and all. And when I went down to check on the CPAP machine and the shotgun, after I checked the shotgun, I remember seeing that revolver. So I just wanted to go over and look to see if it was still in that drawer.
So on the 5th, did you go to see if that gun was there?
Yes.
And what happened?
So I went and opened that drawer, and that gun was not there. And closed the drawer back, didn't look anywhere else, and I went back upstairs. And then on my way back upstairs, I noticed a drop of blood on the floor. It was smaller than a dime, and it was, kind of almost right there before you get to the stairway.
Right by the stairs at the corner there?
So I didn't want to bring anything up at that time because this, like I said, this is prior to finding my dad. And, I didn't want to be like, hey, there was I went to go see if there was a gun down there and it's not there anymore. But, back when I found it, Melody was gone. My dad was at work, and I just forgot all about it. But for some reason that day when I went to go check to see if the shotgun was there, it reminded me that gun was in that drawer, and just something told me to go just check to see if it was still there.
Did you afterwards on the 5th when law enforcement came? Did you talk to them?
Yes.
Did you tell them about this gun?
Yes.
Did you tell them about the blood?
Yes.
Did you tell them about other things you found unusual?
Yes, or her behavior and stuff like that, yes.
And then you talked to law enforcement on July 5th, I believe, at the scene. Is that with Detective Kuykendall in the vehicle?
Yes, so I sat in the passenger seat, and I honestly don't remember who all was in the vehicle, but there was somebody in the driver's seat, and then I remember there was either one or two people in the back seat.
And then Detective Hayes is behind me here. At some point the next day, I think you went and talked to him again?
I want to say it was him that night, because...
Yeah, that night into the next day, down at the Freedom Precinct.
Yes, I don't really remember talking to Detective Hayes right there on the property. My memory that I think the first time I remember talking to him was at the Free Home Fire and Police Precinct.
So one time on the scene, and then talking to the detective at the precinct.
Yes. There was a lot of police officers and detectives and everybody out there, so I can't say exactly who I talked to at all from my knowledge, but I talked to a lot of different police officers.
Just this time on 10, Evidence State's Exhibit
No objection.
So that's here now. Stage 7. So it's S Ferris 7, S Ferris 8, and S Ferris 9.
Hi there, Mick.
Hey, Joe's. Let's start with 9. S Ferris 9. Not 7 or 8. Let's go to 9. On this one here, you see there's some text message between you and your dad on the cell phones?
Yes, I do.
Let's see. Looks like on June 6, 2018, at the first one, 109, 12:07 p.m.
Yes.
This is from you to your dad. Can you read what that says?
Okay, so he called some mix-up. He will be there around 2.
And then, okay. Let's see the times. Let's start at 1:12. So 6/6/2018, 9/18/36. You see that?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's from you to your dad, and then we're going to go upwards.
Oh, it's.
All right, so let's start.
It looks like it's from my dad to me.
Yeah, to you from your dad, and what is that message?
DirecTV guys coming. Come here and let me show you the ISSR.
All right, then from you to your dad, the next one up.
I think what he wants to type.
What's that say? Starting with, did they?
Did they give you a time frame on when they will be here?
All right, then going up to the next one. Okay. Looks like to you from your dad.
Yes, he responded before 12.
And then the last one there.
He called and some mix up. He will be there around 2.
And he thought it was AT&T. Could it have been DirecTV?
I believe AT&T and DirecTV are the
But this
same
is what you're
company.
talking about.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. It was to do with the satellite, so DirecTV is satellite.
This is Ferris 7. This is something we've pulled in the case. Can you see the date time here at the top? Can you just tell us what that is?
2018, June 5th, time is 12:48.
And then the message contents, just read that for us if you would.
That's Zulu time.
He would reply yes.
Reply yes to confirm your DirecTV appointment at 6/6, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Reply no to reschedule. To stop receiving this message, reply stop.
Then S. Ferris 8, this is a June 6, 2018 text from them. And the message contents, what does that say? You can just...
Hello, we recently completed the DirecTV visit. If you're experiencing service issues, please reply or call 678-971-2219 to guarantee tech within 24 hours.
Were you running around repeatedly saying there's lots of blood down there, there's lots of blood down there, or anything like that?
I never once said that.
I want to juxtapose two points on June 5th and June 6th. So one is when you're at the scene and you're talking to law enforcement, and then June 5th going into June 6th at the Free Home Precinct when you talk to law enforcement.
You mean July?
Yes, excuse me, I'm sorry. July 5th and July 6th. The two positions I want to talk about is when you're at the scene and then you're down at the precinct, at what point did you learn that there was actually a bullet was found in your father's rib?
So we were there very, very late at night. I know it was probably close to 11, midnight or so. And they kept us in a kind of a conference room. And they brought us one by one back into another room individually. I don't remember who they brought back first and all, but by the time they brought me back, I believe it was Detective Hayes that was there with me. I don't really remember the details of what all was discussed at first, and then I was informed that they discovered a bullet lodged in the rib bone.
Do you remember Detective Hayes saying, "I've got something I got to tell you"? You remember how he broached that or told you about it?
I don't remember his exact words on how he did that because, you know, once I was told that that was happening, that happened, my mind just went into kind of shock, I'll say.
At that point, did you suspect your mom?
Definitely.
Was she there with you at the precinct?
She was there in the room that we were all kept in at.
Who else was there?
Amanda was there. Possibly Chad, Bruce. I don't remember if Chris and Emily were there.
After you were told that, did you go out and talk to others about what you were told?
That night?
Did the other family members, were they told about the bullet?
I don't remember discussing that with them, after I came back out of the room.
What, did you ask your mom anything when you left?
I really don't remember if I did or not.
Afterwards, after July 6th, you couldn't go back to the property?
No, so, they informed us for us to go up to that precinct, and we were all, able to drive up there. We didn't have to ride squad cars or anything like that, but they did inform us that we were not allowed to go back to the property. So, from what I remember, Melody went and stayed with Amanda, and once we were fully released for the night, I left and went back up to the lake house because Ted was there and some other friends. So I knew I had somewhere to go to sleep that night.
Afterwards, was there a splitting of the family afterwards? Like some went one way and the others went the other way.
Oh yeah, I mean, once we found out that there was a bullet found in the rib bone, that obviously he's been shot and then burned, and we all put the pieces together because my dad had no enemies. I never once met anybody in my entire life that hated my dad. So we knew somebody, wouldn't have come there. The house wasn't wrecked. I mean, there was nothing. Everything was adding up to us that it wasn't a robbery, and it wasn't anything like that. And, her history of, having affairs and doing all this shady stuff that she's done, and especially her making the comment, "I can't wait for the day he's dead and I don't have to live with him anymore."
Did Amanda support your mom or support y'all?
So I remember for several weeks, it seemed like, Amanda kept saying, "Well, he just had a heart attack and fell in the fire." And I was like, "Amanda, how could he have had a heart attack and fell in the fire when they found a bullet lodged in his rib bone?" And she's like, "Well, they could be lying to us." I was like, "Okay, well, if he had a heart attack and fell in the fire, why was everything gone from the fire pit?" It's like the RTV would have been there, or the tractor would have been there. There would have been something. There was no indication to, especially to me,
that's a good agreement.
He would have had a heart attack and fell into the fire.
So Amanda was not convinced?
She was not convinced on him being shot.
Was she supportive of your mother?
Oh yes, I mean, like I said, she was always glued to her side from the time I showed up over to the house, and even after, and she was always with her.
Now afterwards, the property, the house, and the contents of the house and things like that. Fair to say that your mother and you and things were having some problems, some arguments over the disagreements, if you would, over the property in the house and trying to sell it and whatnot.
Afterwards, yes. I mean, it was. She immediately after this was all about trying to get as much money as possible.
Was Amanda being a go-between between you and the defendant at times?
If I remember right, yeah, she was very much involved, and all of us. I remember all of us getting, hit up about getting, having money handed over to her or something along those lines.
When you and your mom afterwards were trying to figure out what to do with the house, because I guess it went into the probate part, all the property basically was frozen. Is that right?
Yes, everything from. It seemed like the day of the 5th, they froze everything.
So the accounts and things like that?
Yes.
But on the 5th, was your mom going around asking who was on the bank accounts and stuff like that?
No, she was actually asking those questions before finding my dad. That was another, like I said, her behavior. She kept asking all of us, do you have access to the bank account?
At the scene while you're trying to find your dad?
Yes, man, this is like us trying to figure out where he could be.
Now, was it odd at times that your mom and you would have to talk and communicate after your father's remains were found? Y'all still had to deal with the house and try to deal with that aspect. Did y'all communicate somewhat on that?
Yeah, man, we were, I guess you said we went into kind of a survival mode, trying to figure out how to take care of everything, and because we had a lot of animals we still had to feed, and and keep lights on and stuff like that.
Judge, this time I intended evidence S. Ferris 5.
No objection.
It strikes me that everyone went looking for the wallet as soon as he was missing. I think that speaks volumes.
This is, again, is the cell bright. What I want to look at is if you can turn to page 2, number 3. So you see how at the top, when you go as from and to, so the first category here with the number is from your mother to you. And does that say, how early can you be home to help me get barn cleaned up? People are coming at 6:30. Did you see that?
Yes.
And what is the date of that one? The timestamp there?
She's known as Mother
4/8/2019.
So y'all were still communicating after the fact of what to do with the house, is that right?
Yes.
And page 4, let's go to number 9. From your mom to you, and there's a text message about goat is having a baby. Do you see that?
Yes.
And that was in April of 2019?
Yes.
Did you still have to take care of the animals and things like that?
Oh, yes.
Was anybody else there helping you take care of the animals?
No.
Were you still staying in the barn at that time?
Yes, I was.
I'm going to go to page 9. On 28 there, do you see it's a message from your mom to you? That's April 19, 2019. It says, people come to look at house. Said barn apartment was filthy. Poop in floor, smelled so bad. Other realtor took pictures. This is beyond, I think she was trying to say unacceptable. You see that?
Yes.
And then the 29th message we have here on April 19, 2019 at 1:47, you replied to it, and what did you say?
On the 29th.
See right here?
Oh, yes. That is bullshit. What's unacceptable is our father being murdered.
Did you find that your mom was saying things to you that you believe were not true, or saying to other people things that were not true?
Oh, absolutely.
About how you were handling the house?
Yes.
What you were doing?
Yes.
How bad did it get? Did law enforcement ever get called on you?
There was a lot of times that I was never told, but animal control kept being called. And what I picked up off from the deputy who came out from animal control, he kind of acted like it was possibly a neighbor trying to get the animals. So that was the most occurrence of somebody from the Cherokee County coming out.
Did animal control ever come and take the animals away from you, or write you up, or lock you up, or anything like that?
No, sir. Every time they came out, they said, I showed them, their feed and, their hay. I walked them around. They looked at all the animals, and they're like, yeah, there is nothing wrong. All your animals look healthy. And
did you know whether or not it was your mother behind that?
No, I do not know if it was her.
Was it during this time that we see here there was disputes going on?
Yes.
Now, this is page 12. It's number 40 on this extraction. It's from you. Now, you've got mother too. I guess she had different numbers. Is that what you put it in?
Yeah, by that time, she had to get a new cell phone because Cherokee County had her other cell phone still.
Did your mother, the defendants, start asking about money and paying things and stuff on the cars and whatnot? if you would, read this message for us that on April the 3rd, 2019, from you to your mother. What does it say?
I have been giving Amanda $200 every month for insurance. I have it documented. She sent me a text last week saying she canceled the insurance on the Toyota. The lies need to stop because we are not falling for them. Just how we know you're now going around Tennessee telling everyone that Chris and I would get into fights with Daddy. You want to talk about a disappointment. How about you filing a false police report against me? We are not stupid and we are not falling for your lies.
Got pretty bad between y'all?
Yeah, so the whole police report thing, I believe it was after I came back from my grandmother's funeral. I was contacted about meeting with a detective in Woodstock Police Department. Later to come out, the reason why I had to go to Woodstock is because since Cherokee County was handling the investigation with my dad, they could not get involved with this one. Well, I found out the police officer I talked to, he said that Melody filed a report that I threatened to kill her, just like how I did my daddy. And
this is all after the fact, right?
Yes.
So is it fair to describe that as soon as you were, after finding your father, the family was together for a little bit, and we've heard about the attorney, I'm not going to go into too much of that, but y'all then went and things separated. You, Chris, and Emily went this way, and Amanda went with your mom. Amanda and Chad Bruce went with your mom went that way.
Yes, that's correct.
Fair to say that y'all were close together, not pointing fingers or anything like that, but then as time went on, it just branched out.
Yes.
Father and father, the gap got wider and wider.
Yes.
But there were still, like on page 18 of this report, number 64 and 65, kind of an odd setting because you still had the house, and there's a message from you to her, 5:07 on May 21st, 2019. Did you leave the door unlocked? Do you see that message? Number 64 there.
Yes. Did you leave the door unlocked?
She replies and responds by saying the key is under the front row. You see that?
Yes.
So at times it could be, I guess, amicable, but would you describe it as just odd and weird afterwards? Just how y'all had to interact at times?
Yeah, I had to be very careful because I knew with her aggression towards us, because there were several times that, if something happened that she didn't like, she would come up and start yelling at me and threatening me and stuff like that. I believe I talked to Detective Hayes, and he was the one that informed me that the memo recording on my phone, I'm able to do recording. So if I had any kind of interactions with her, I can record it, and at least there would be some kind of audio documentation of it.
Now, tell the jury again, who is Chad Bruce?
Chad Bruce, prior to this, was dating my sister Amanda.
Are they now married?
Yes, they're now married.
Is he close to your mom?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Did y'all have a time after this that y'all had an incident in the roadway outside the property?
Yes. So, after all this happened, I knew I had to go find some work. I did mainly kind of like under the table type work. I didn't go get a full-blown job. I was trying to bring in as much cash as possible.
You working in a nursery or something?
Well, that was,
IRS is like,
I didn't immediately start working at my friend's nursery. I actually went and worked for somebody who I knew who had a landscaping, cutting, lawns and stuff like that.
But at some point you and Chad had an incident in the...
Yeah, so I came home from working all day, and I pull up and I see Amanda and Chad at the driveway. By this time we were locking the gate. And they were standing there, And when I pulled up, Chad started threatening me and cussing at me. So was Amanda. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but I was being yelled at and cussed at.
Is Chad, was he aggressive with you?
He was definitely yelling and all. I stayed in my vehicle, but he never came like charging at me.
Sure, no fisticuffs or anything.
Yeah,
right?
nothing like that. But he was yelling and cussing and calling me a piece of shit and all this stuff. And I was trying, when this was happening, I was trying to hit the record button on my phone. And I somehow, I'm keeping my eye on him and trying to hit the record button on my phone in my lap. And I somehow wound up calling my buddy Justin. And all I hear is, hang up, call 911, hang up, call 911. And I was like, okay, so I did that. And I called 911. And by the time 911 got on the phone with me, Amanda and Chad were in their vehicle, and he pulled right up next to me, and he was cussing and yelling at me. So you could definitely, if you have the 911 recording, you'll be able to hear him.
So the tension was spreading to other people too?
Yes, I mean, him, Chad and Amanda, pretty much within a month after of this happening with my dad, they became fully against us and accusing us of stuff.
Scott, I don't really have much more. I have a couple more topics, and then I'm going to sit down and let the defense ask you some questions.
Have at you.
I want to ask you about Rusty.
Okay.
At what point did you learn about Rusty?
It was sometime around not Amanda, but Emily's wedding. I know it was brought up that it was odd that Melody wanted to have him there at the wedding. I don't ever really remember meeting him as a child. I remember meeting his dad, and also, Martha Jane. Less than a handful of times we went and saw them through our childhood, so I don't remember Rusty.
Yeah, so Scott, what I want to know is, on July 5th of 2018, was Rusty Barton even in your mind when this was going on?
No, not at the moment, no.
Did you learn more stuff after the fact?
Oh yeah, but more came out.
But your dad didn't know about Rusty Barton?
Yes.
How do you know he knew about it?
I knew at one point my father sent me a text message saying along the lines of the girlfriend of Rusty Barton that your mother's having an affair with contacted me. I don't remember, what the rest was said in that text message, but I knew by that point he was aware of Rusty.
Your dad got a message about Rusty?
Yes, from what he texted me,
Rusty's girlfriend?
He got a message from a woman that he was dating, apparently.
So the girlfriend of Rusty?
Yes.
This is S-Ferris 6. I tendered yesterday. It's in evidence, and I want to go to... Do you remember talking or texting with your dad exactly what the language was about Rusty?
I would have to see this kind of recap my mind.
Look at S6, and for the record, I retender it back into evidence, but this is number 23.
Retender it? Did you withdraw it?
It's your dad's sale from him to you. It's October 20, 2017 at 9:19 a.m.
Incoming body. Oh, wait.
Yes, sir, I did.
Body of message. The girlfriend of her boyfriend, Rusty Barton, sent me several disturbing emails last night. She is spending a dime of my money.
Read that into the record for us, please.
The girlfriend of her boyfriend, Rusty Barton, sent me several disturbing emails last night. She is spending spending a dime of my money.
Just a dime? Yeah. It's like 10 cents. It adds up, guys. It adds up. I think the she
go down to the next message, 24.
Melody.
From your dad to you, October 20, 2017. What does your dad's message to you say?
Get a job.
Things will change dramatically. You need to pursue a job soon.
Get a job, the dad said.
That was in October 2017, I believe.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to pay you a living wage to feed the goats.
Scott, I want you to look at the jury and answer this question. Did you murder your father?
I absolutely did not murder my father.
Could we see that as well?
Without a doubt, I loved him.
Look at me. Did you have anything to do to help your mother dispose of and burn your father?
Absolutely not.
Tell them, not me.
No. Like I said, I love my father. He was the backbone. He was the glue to our family.
No further questions, John.
All right, time to take a break.
Take 15 minutes.
15-minute break. Time to take a break. We'll be back at 10:50, I think. And we're going to be back with probably some of the most aggressive cross that we've seen. The move that the prosecution just pulled there, which we've got mixed reaction in chat. We've got some people saying, "I don't buy it. I'm not believing it." Other people saying it's very real tears, fake tears. Mixed feelings on this one. The move they pulled was to make the jury feel bad for him right before he's going to get attacked by the defense. He showed no emotion. Okay, I'm just laying out facts. I don't know where truthfully on this one. I'm not sure where I feel. He showed no emotion recounting everything. The only time he cried was when he said, "I didn't have anything to do with his death." That to me seems a little suspicious. He described literally walking up to the burn pile and turning over the skull and discovering he was looking into what most likely was the skull of his father on the burn pile, and there was no emotion. Now I can credit that. This guy has military experience. He's seen some stuff on deployment, and that could very well go to his ability to compartmentalize and to be in the moment and just separate yourself from your emotions. But I don't know. I don't know on this one. Here's what I think. I don't know who killed Mr. Ferris, but I think it was done at the burn pit. I think he was shot while he was out at the burn pit. And I do think the tractor was used to push his body into the fire.
Mm-hmm. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, this is Scott.
This is Nosy Rosie.
Hey, Nosy Rosie, how are you doing?
I've got questions.
You do?
I have thoughts.
Let's hear a couple of them.
Okay, so I want to know what happened to his deployment money, because when military members go off, you get deployment money. Did his wife keep his deployment money, and is that why he's angry with his mom trying to keep his dad's money? I mean, I have a question about that.
I don't know. How long had you been out of the military? See, he was about 34, 35 when this happened, right?
Yeah, but you get a little bit of deployment money, like a good nest egg. He was gone for what it sounded like almost a year. That's a good chunk of money.
It's good.
So what happened to
I
that?
wouldn't say it's enough to live on for a couple of years.
It is.
And he did have the ability to spend.
It's a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
It is. It's a good chunk of. Unfortunately, guys come home and they end up buying like big trucks, and he was living. Was he living with his parents? Where was he living?
I don't think. I would be very surprised if they came home with over $100,000. If deployed
maybe
for a
not
year.
100. But okay. So you get deployment money. You get comrades. You get BA. It adds up to several $1,000s a month.
But
it really does.
What I'm saying is he had the ability to spend as fast as he was earning, and there's the ability to spend money over there as well. So he most likely didn't just become an expert saver and cash.
No.
Bank,
I agree.
bank all his deployment money.
I agree. So that's part of my point is that did he spend it or did his wife spend it?
I bet they both did.
I feel like he has a thing with wives and money because he got divorced right away. Okay, so that's one of the things.
Yeah. I'm not on the same page, but what's the next question? Let's go.
Okay. The next question is why was the need to get a job but under the table, so not a job? So, like, I don't understand that part.
His situation, the way he's described it, every time he wants to do something, whether it's buy himself food, go golfing, whatever, I don't know what it was, whatever he wanted to do, he had to ask for money. So he had no money. He wanted cash.
So this is one of the things that I may dislike him, but one of the things that I was talking with someone in chat was that I do feel bad for him that he was not getting a quote unquote wage from his parents if he was quote unquote working on the farm. So how could he have like his own money to spend it? He needed money to go out, so he would get the debit card. So that part I kind of feel bad on him about. There's all sorts of resentments there, and then the parents each alienating the children from each other. And then at the end, the dad says, you're going to have to get a job. I don't know.
I don't know.
Mess.
We'll think it over.
I feel like I'm normal and my family's a mess. So
Nosy Rosie, thank you very much. We'll think that over.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know. This to me, I going back to what I said, I think he was killed out there by the burn pile. I think the blood inside the house is probably all Melody's. That's my gut feel. I can't imagine someone being killed in a home with a firearm and them basically hosing the whole place down with luminol and only finding a couple drops. That part, it doesn't add up for me. The blood, it might have been related to. I mean, they might have had an altercation. She might have had an injury from that. She might have fallen. I mean, she might have cut herself in the kitchen. I don't know, but I think that the blood was not related to his murder directly because it's not his. But I do think that he was out at the burn pit where he said he would be.
Call from
Angela.
Hey, Angela, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Have you solved this one for us yet?
No, but I have so many questions. To begin with, we know that it's confirmed that he was last seen on the 3rd, July 3rd, but no one saw him on the 4th. And so he must have been killed on the 4th, but I mean, it just timeline-wise, I don't understand when would that happen. I mean, it would have to have been before the granddaughter got to the farm, which was, I don't remember the timeline.
Mm-hmm. I think it was before. If we're saying that Melody did it, I think it was probably just before she called saying, "Hey, get home, the horses are out."
Yeah.
Okay. If we say she went out and shot him with that gun, and I don't know, threw the gun in the pond. I still think it might be in there, but threw the gun away somewhere. Got rid of that. Shot him. Used the tractor because he fell probably next to the burn pile to push him onto the burn pile. And I'm just going to say, I went through the pictures. It appears to me that there were bones that are like crushed, broken. And pushing a body with a tractor is one way to do that. But I believe he was pushed onto the burn pile, and then the tractor was parked. She was already outside taking care of the horses. She got them back in, right? So when the son comes back, sees the fire burning, because he did. He was like, "Hey, somebody used to watch that fire. You can't just leave it. Twice now we've tried to burn the forest down." I think he was already dead at that point. And then when did the daughter come over?
I don't think anyone said that.
Because she stayed.
Because
she said, "I don't want her staying this day, but she will come this day." Right? Was that? I don't know.
I remember.
I can see.
But I mean, I think that because before the granddaughter came, before Chris dropped her off at the farm, he did not want to drive up there, and Melody was like on some lake or somewhere,
right? And
she was on the way back.
And they met. They met and exchanged the daughter. So she would have to be.
So could she went to throw the gun somewhere where like nobody would look, and that's why she couldn't meet up with Chris, or what? I mean, it's like it's that whole midday just before the granddaughter was dropped off, and after what just Scott testified to. It's like that after she gave him the card, it's like that whole time. That's really, what happened that time,
Yeah.
And when the daughter came in.
I can see through the testimony we've had so far, I can see how Melody had opportunity and why things can match up that way. And honestly, the more I see just how financially dependent these sons were on the dad day by day to survive, the more I can see that state's argument that why would they kill the cash cow? The dad's telling them to get a job. They're not getting a job. He's still paying all the bills. He's still paying everything. Food. Scott gets free rent. Food's paid for. The truck is his dad's work. I had to drive the work truck. It wasn't even a dually. It's a free truck. The dad paid for that as well. I mean,
Chris, at least he had his own firm or something, so he seemed like he was trying to get out and be on. Yeah.
But
so
he couldn't
was
afford to pay his employee's paycheck. His employee cashed the paycheck early, and it like everything bounced, or he went negative.
Well, except for that part.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, that it does not make sense to kill the money cow or what you said. It just doesn't make sense. But you know what clicked for me, and I think someone in the chat also said that but also Scott said that why would she give me the card when Dad said that don't keep this card very
right. Why would she have the card?
I mean,
why would she have the wallet?
Yeah.
Everyone was looking for the wallet as soon as he was gone. Before they were even looking for the body, they were looking for his wallet, because I think that's where their mind went. That was, how are we going to pay for whatever I need next if Dad is gone? I think that was the question.
But didn't Chris said that he did not leave the house without his wallet? And that's why he at least looked for the wallet, because if the wallet was in the house, he's somewhere on the property. If wallet was not in the house, then he's somewhere outside.
I heard what they said, but I think in the boys' minds, when they think of their dad, they think of his wallet. And that's why they went there. I know that's harsh, but I mean, that's the evidence we're seeing, that constantly, that there was a strong money connection between the two. And when Dad was missing, they thought about that connection.
I would love for anthropologists to testify, to give us some kind of clear timeline when was he killed, or at least some estimate of when was he killed, because I think there is some kind of equation where she can find out approximately timeline.
Wow.
You know,
I don't know how they would do that if they could. With a burned body, that really does make it difficult.
Yeah, but at least she can give some kind of estimate, you know. I think that's why it took even 11 months to get everything done. But yeah, I have so many questions, including how the heck did they connect her to his murder? Yeah. Also, there was because I was mostly in the repeat crew. There was I don't know what day. It was like when it was during Chris' testimony, like his what, spells or whatever.
Yeah.
I have family members that has one family member that has epilepsy, and he did not discover.
We're back.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Bye bye.
We can do anything to keep you from messing it up. It's really more of finding a chair. Yeah, that chair would be good.
It's a hot mic. Sorry. We were going to show you the thumbnail, which is looking great. We'll go over that here. We'll use this thumbnail for lunch as well for the next one. Some people are saying you don't agree with me on the wallet, the connection. They actually were looking for that because he never goes anywhere without his wallet. I think Scott was very smart to say, if Dad fell in the burn pile and had a medical accident, why is the RTV not here? That was smart. That I could see that connection. But he wouldn't go anywhere without his wallet. Why would they look for his wallet when his car is still there? Okay, if his car was gone and his wallet, then, you know, and his wallet was here, I don't know. It seems like they already knew that he had not left the property, or there were no signs that he had left the property. Then why look for the wallet for me? That seemed like a strange jump to go, quick, find the wallet. See if we can get the car. Judge is down in the well, playing with the Elmo. Got the zipper down on the robe, a little ventilation going on. See, he's got some, are those dock shoes? Deck shoes? Got some style. He's got the swagger. He was explaining the tech. I really am feeling that he was shot and killed at the burn pile. I do think the tractor was used to push his body onto the burn pile, because to fall onto the burn pile, you would have to be standing right at the edge to fall into the burn pile like that. That's not a natural fall. You would have part of your body hanging out.
30, so we'll go until we get word from them.
Judge was planning the lunch schedule.
Now that's the only thing, the problem that we have is if you have a vertical photo, that screws up everything.
And that's what we got a lot of.
So you're just gonna have to. Yeah, the old vertical photo is not. Go ahead and bring them. Doesn't really.
Bring in the jury.
If you will bring the jury.
Now, my solution for that was the very first system we put in. I had a TV monitor that could turn, but when I took the large display the first time and turned it sideways, I thought it was going to fall out of the wall.
I remember that.
I was like, "Oh, that's not good. Let's don't do that."
I think that's when the TV was new too. If I
Yeah.
had a big TV in here, it's
Yeah.
about to fall off.
With one of these light ones, we could probably do that. But that other one,
It was big.
I take my phone. I usually take my wallet when I go in the car, but I mean, not when I'm just out and about in the yard.
So yeah,
They're sure they're a lot lighter than the first one you bought. That was one of the biggest TVs I'd ever seen, flat screen, the one that you got originally.
that would be the
Scott's back on the stand. Jury's coming in.
design an articulating mount that rotates. The
We are up to 113 on the counters. Does anyone know why we were able to see the Aurora Borealis all over the country last night? Was there a huge solar flare or something that I missed? Usually those actually cause problems for our live stream as well when there's a huge solar flare. The internet just acts funny. Yes, a G5. Is that like a G6?
If y'all are like me, you don't want your Chick-fil-A sandwich to sit on that pickle for too long.
I'm all about the pickle.
All right, go ahead.
Good morning, Scott. My name is John Luke Weaver, and I, along with Michael Ray, represent your mother. I want to start, and a lot of this stuff you talked about yesterday, but I do want to talk, I want to go back in time a long way to your childhood. And I want to kind of go through that and work our way up in time from there. So you were raised where?
From the time we lived in Birmingham or Alabama to
Your first memory, where did you live?
my very first memory, I vaguely remember living in Tuscaloosa, but majority of my childhood memories living in Birmingham, over in Hoover.
That's where you, in your mind, that's where you really grew up. Was it?
Yeah, I mean, I was there all through elementary school.
All right. And so I kind of want to talk about how everybody was in the family. I mean, the family has kind of become a critical part of this case, as you know. So I want you to tell the judge, or the jury, kind of your perspective on everybody. So tell me about your older brother, Chris. Growing up, what was he like?
Growing up, him and I were very much involved in baseball, and we played a lot of spring ball, summer ball, fall ball. I mean, baseball we were consumed with. And, you know, my brother and I will always help my dad do projects around at that house there. I remember helping him build the back deck. And
So y'all played baseball, so you tall guys. Now, what position did y'all play?
We played
Shortstop.
a variety of different positions.
Pitcher?
At one point I was a pitcher. Played a lot of outfield. I don't really remember what all my brother played because we were never on the same team because he was older than me. But, you know, I've been shortstop, first base, pitcher.
Called
outfield.
it shortstop.
You play in school for the high school
6'6"
team?
shortstop.
No, I did not play baseball in high school. Once we moved to Georgia, I really didn't want to play anymore because I didn't have my friends anymore that I used to play with.
Lost those connections.
Yeah, in a way.
Also, too, the coaches didn't know you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we moved to a new town, new neighborhood, didn't know anybody.
Who was better at baseball, you or Chris?
I mean,
it's pitting the two against each other.
Chris, maybe. I don't know. I mean, him and I used to be in our backyard and practice pitching and throwing, and we would do the same with my dad. So I really don't remember, watching him play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I would have to say, we were probably equal.
And in Birmingham, that was when you guys, basically through all of your growing up, you guys shared a bedroom, right?
Yes.
Bunk beds, how did that work?
We had 2 twin beds in the room.
Just side by side?
Yeah, one on one side of the room, one on the other.
All right. And that was from your earliest memory to moving to, I believe, the Hampton Hall neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so tell me about that. Did Chris ever get in trouble? Which one of you two was the mischievous one? Somebody had to be. 2 brothers.
I mean, yeah, we always got in trouble for something. I mean, nothing really stood out to, that will stick in my memory for sure. But, I mean, yeah, we got in trouble like any, boys would that were.
Okay.
This is before cell phones and internet and all that. So, we were out, actually playing like, kids did back then.
Old school.
Old
I think
school
that's
way.
the word you use. You're old school.
Yeah.
Okay. Like your dad, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, but of the two of you, I've got 2 sons, and I got a mischievous son, and then I've got one who's basically always pointing the finger at the other son. But can you say of the 2 of you, which would be the more mischievous of the brothers? Just pick one.
I love that he's putting the 2 against each other.
How about that? Who was getting in trouble more growing up with your dad?
Well, that would probably be Chris because he was, older than me. Once I got into middle school and he was in high school, we didn't really do things together. He had his own friends and stuff, so him and I weren't hanging out all the time like we would when we were younger in Birmingham. We just, we got older. Take for instance, like right now, my fiance, she has an identical twin sister, and they talk every single day. My brother and I don't do that.
But back then, and so your answer would have been Chris, got in more trouble than you?
Yeah, I would have to say that. It's be kind of, I will get in trouble for one thing, and he'll get in trouble for something completely different.
So would you
we
say,
just had a lot. We had, kind of strict rules, and.
But what do you mean by that? Strict rules?
Our parents weren't soft on us, so if we did something wrong, they let us know.
That was both of you.
Yes.
And the girls too?
Yeah, the girls younger, but they weren't as hard on Emily and Amanda as they were Chris and I.
All right. So, of the 2 parents, what you got to give me some examples. How would they discipline you?
Oh, my dad, he would, fuss at us and, explain what we did wrong and everything like that. I have more memories of Melody hitting me.
Spanking you?
Spanking me with a belt, eventually upgraded to, I've been hit by spatulas and I've had things thrown at me. I do remember we were living in Birmingham in the girls' room.
No, going into something that happened wherever, whenever, forever ago.
The judge says, I object.
So the girls, growing up, they were raised a little differently than you and Chris?
Yeah, they weren't treated like how, Chris and I would. They're girls. And there's a difference between girls and boys do get into more mischief than what girls would.
All right. So, kind of, not to say that this is the case, but if you could rank for each parent growing up, who do you think was the favorite and who do you think was maybe the least favorite of the children? So for your mom, we'll start there.
So my mom's point of view, who was the most favorite?
Who was the favorite? Who was the least favorite?
She definitely favored Amanda more.
Okay.
And then Chris, she favored more. I was middle child, so Chris was her first baby, and then Amanda was the baby. So
that was her top two.
Yes, from my perspective, yes, those were her top two.
So who would have been the least favorite?
I mean, they never treated us like, any of us were like the outcasts or and all, but...
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just, from your perspective as a child.
I just remember, Amanda and Chris kind of got, treated a little bit better than, they got better birthday presents and got more attention in a way. And I'm not saying Emily, didn't get that and all, and I didn't get it because, my dad always made sure that, all of us were treated, kind of equally.
Okay, so on your dad's side of things, who would you say his favorites were?
Both the girls.
A little bit harder on you and Chris?
He was just, he put more discipline on us.
Right. When you use the word old school multiple times. You've been interviewed for this case about 6 times, and you've been testifying now for about 6 hours. And you use the word old school a lot. What did that mean?
Old school is, he never coddled us. He made sure we got out and did yard work and we got our stuff done. I remember growing up, we couldn't go play with our friends until we got our chores done.
He held you accountable.
This is the discipline?
That would have been Melody more.
Okay, well, I was saying he held you accountable.
He just, he definitely got us involved on, doing stuff like that. So it wasn't, work came, get work done first before play.
This is not discipline.
You mentioned that growing up too. I mean, there kind of was a little different standard with the girls. Amanda got a brand new car, and I believe you got a 1991 Silverado.
Yes.
What color was it?
Black.
Okay. So you moved to Atlanta in '95?
Yes, sir.
Right. What do you remember about that move?
I remember coming over. We stayed a lot at the Renaissance Hotel down in Atlanta, which was right next to my dad's, law firm. That's where they.
Where was the firm back then?
It was like
that was before Atlantic Station was built.
Yes, it was. Catty corner to the Varsity.
Okay.
So it was right there. So you had at the time, I think it was South Trust building, and you had the Renaissance Hotel connected to it. So that's where we stayed at while they were looking for a house.
At the hotel?
Yes, we would stay there.
And were you happy about the move?
I wasn't crazy about it because, like I said, I had all my friends in Birmingham. I had my best friend Kyle that we went fishing every single day in the lake that we had in the neighborhood, and I used to go to hunting camp with him and his dad. So I had all my, my friends there, my best friends, and I was moving to an area that I didn't have any friends, didn't know anybody.
So, Emily has been kind of noted as the brain of the family, like of the 4, right? The smart one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how were your grades growing up?
Oh, I was not the best student. Wish I got my dad's brains on book smart and all, but I always struggled in school just because I would get very, I'll lose attention. I'll get bored or something and wander off in my mind. And I graduated, but I was nowhere near the top of my class. So, I mean, school wasn't my strong suit. I'm more of a hands-on person.
Okay. How did that go with your dad? Was he kind of upset with you about your grades and how that went growing up?
No, he always helped me. He tried to help me, with homework and, try to improve my school. I mean, he was always going over homework with me and, grabbing my textbooks and, helping me out, basically kind of tutoring me.
When you moved to Atlanta, did you have any opportunity to ever meet Angela Phillips?
I've pretty much known of Angela my entire life. That was my dad's legal assistant. So as far as I can remember my dad working for the law firm, she was the legal assistant.
Okay. And when did you find out about the relationship that your dad had with Angela?
I never knew about a relationship with her.
Have you ever heard about it before?
Nope. This is the first time I'm ever hearing this.
What?
So you graduated high school, what, about 2000, 2001, somewhere in there?
Yes, sir.
Which one?
2000, well, it was after 9/11 that I graduated, so it was my senior year of 9/11 happened.
So that would be like 2002?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you joined the infantry in, what, 2008, 2009?
Yes, sir. It was, I started out, I went to the recruiting office in the early 2008, I think it was.
Well, let's back up. What did you do between 2002 and about 2008?
So when I was in high school, like I said yesterday, I was on the work program. I worked at Jiffy Lube, so I did oil changes and stuff like that. Once I graduated from high school, then I went and worked for Tires Plus, and then several other mechanic shops for several years, and then.
So you say several. Why were you changing jobs so much?
Just trying to make more money and all. I mean, mechanics at mechanic shops is kind of like barbers and stuff like that. They don't. It's rare if one stays at one location for a long period of time. Also, a lot of mechanic shops, they got their master technicians, and you can't really go anywhere. So you go in as like a lube tech, which just does oil changes and brake pads and stuff like that. So whenever I found an opportunity to gain, a higher job experience, I would try to take advantage of it and make more money.
Did you ever attempt to go to a trade school or anything like that, get an extra education?
I thought about trying possibly going to linear tech and going into the automotive, but once I got into working on cars and all, I realized you really didn't need it. It's better just hands-on training. You learn more that way. There's a lot of people who worked in that industry that didn't have a degree hanging on the wall that was making decent money.
So it'd be fair to say during those years, and I think I'm taking your words from one of your interviews, that prior to your military service, you didn't have purpose at that point in your life.
I didn't really have a career job.
Right.
At that point, no, I didn't have a job that I knew, this is what, I'm going to stay at this company for the rest of my life and retire from here. No. I was still young, really didn't know where I wanted to, which direction I wanted to lean into. So, and at one point I decided I just, instead of working on cars, I went towards selling cars to see how that would be. And so I started selling cars.
Okay. Where were you selling cars?
My first job was at Gossett Volkswagen, right there kind of Roswell, Alpharetta, off of Mansell Road. We sold Volkswagens and Bentleys. I then left from there and went to Regal Nissan, which is the next exit down Holcomb Ridge. That was more family owned. Loved working there. Did great there, sold a lot of cars, made a lot of money.
About what year was that?
This was around 2005, I want to say, that I was working there. Because when my grandmother had her heart attack and had to have open heart surgery, I was working there.
And that would have been before you went into the military?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what, about 07, 06, somewhere in there?
Yeah, about in that time frame.
All right. So you were living at home with your parents still, correct?
At that time, yes.
At that time? So from 02 to 08, you lived with your parents, from graduating high school to 08?
No, I did move out for a little while. I lived with some friends and...
Like how long would you say is a little while?
Not even a full year.
Okay. Were you the only one of the 4 siblings that stayed at home after high school? Now, Chris testified he moved to Maine.
I mean, we all kind of stayed home, you know, came back home a little bit. I think Emily was the only one who really, you know, stay as long under our parents' roof as, you know, the rest of us. But we all kind of, you know, once we graduated high school and we were in and out of the, you know, of the house.
But of those 6 years, you spent 5 of them at home between going to the military and graduating high school.
Yeah, majority of it, yes. I was living under the roof.
So tell me about what was the status of your parents' marriage back then? Actually, what was it like when you were growing up? Was it were they loving?
To me, it seemed like a very happy, normal family. I mean, I don't have any, you know, especially don't have any memories of us living in Birmingham of any conflict whatsoever. And even after we moved to Atlanta or Alpharetta, it was several years and didn't notice anything until I started hearing rumors from kids in the neighborhoods about my parents.
Okay. But prior to that, no issues?
No, not that I remember.
So after high school, you're living at home. Were you noticing any issues, or was it still just normal?
It still kind of seemed normal. I mean, there was nothing that stood out to me.
All right. Did you ever... How about during those years, which one of the parents did you spend the most time with? Your mom or your dad?
I mean, obviously it would be my mother because she was a stay-at-home mother, so she was there. My dad was always at the office Monday through Friday. So, but you know.
Is that when y'all started kind of? It seems like you guys both had an affinity, an affection for yard work, and you know, working with your hands.
Yeah, that's always been. It seemed like my entire life.
So back then, even would you and your mom do stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, we all got out and worked in the yard.
All right. And it sounded like when your grandmother, Miss Walker, had her heart surgery, that you went over there with your mom.
Yes.
And stayed for a long time.
Yes, there was quite a period of time that we were up there.
So of the two parents, and I know everybody always gets on ask a lot of questions. This is a serious case, so I have to ask a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. But back then, and even through, I would say, 2018, I'm just asking, which one of the two parents did you spend the most time with?
Well, it still would have been her because my dad was working. So I helped her with the situation of my grandmother. So I believe, you know, Emily was in college. Amanda, at the time, I think she was in college too. Chris was doing his thing. So, you know, I was the one that, you know, was really able to help her, you know, with the whole ordeal of my grandmother. So, yeah, I mean, I was around her the most out of the two.
Y'all were close.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't best buddies, but yeah, I mean, she was my mother, and I was there to, help her out with everything that was going on.
Right. I mean, you now refer to her exclusively as Melody.
Yes.
And you started doing that in 2019, and you've been doing it ever since. 2019 into 2020. But even when you talk about her in past tense, you use the word "my mother," talking about her back then.
You slipped up.
She acted like a mother. She was my mother. And the reason why I don't like calling her my mother now is because the way she treated me after all this started, and then once it came out that my father was murdered and her actions prior to him being murdered, she tore our family apart.
So why did you decide to go into the Army?
So once I noticed things were happening between her and Ted, and that was going on, my father actually told me, you might want to pursue another job, because I was in sales. I sold cars. The recession was coming on, the housing market crashing. He also did bankruptcy as well too. So he kind of said, hey, you might want to find a different job because things are about to get bad. So I knew I've always wanted to serve. I've always been an outdoors guy. I don't obsess over sports like my brother does. I'm more hunting and fishing and going out, being in the woods and everything like that. So I decided that I wanted to go and join the Army and just kind of restart my life over, get away from
That's the
drama.
word, restart. That's the word I think you've used previously.
Yeah, just, I knew going into the Army I'll be able to, get away from the situation that was starting to brew up.
What was that?
That Melody was having an affair with Ted Wiley.
What does that have to do with your situation starting to brew up? In your life, what does that have to do with your life?
I didn't want to see the drama and turmoil going on between my parents and this, and I had my grandmother in the hospital.
You're telling this jury that you joined the Army because you believed your mother was maybe starting to have an affair with Ted Wiley, and so you're going to join the Army, and it's not because you're bouncing from job to job to job in the mid-2000s and you don't have your own home. It's not, that wouldn't be why you joined the Army?
There's a lot of different factors of the reason why I joined the Army. I mean, the stuff going on between, in my parents' relationship, and then also my dad telling me about, the economy going, and I started to see it. I wasn't selling as many cars and stuff like that, and, I just wanted to, it was my way of kind of going into how someone would go to college. They're getting away from the family and also I chose, the Army path.
So you were born in 1983.
Yes, sir.
And then you joined in 2008, so that would have made you about 25?
I was about 24 around then.
So a little older than the average person coming into the Army at that point.
Yeah, I mean, when I actually went through basic training, there was actually several people who were older than me, and some the same age, but yes, majority of them were, 19, 20 years old, fresh out of high school.
And where did you said yesterday where you did your basic? I didn't write that down.
Down at Fort Benning in Columbus, Georgia.
And what was your report day on that?
My report?
Your first day of report. The date.
I don't remember the exact date. I remember my dad dropping me off at the recruiting office, and the recruiters took me by the car and took me down to MEPS down in Atlanta. I don't really remember the exact date.
And you testified yesterday that you actually remembered your mother crying when you were leaving.
That was when they dropped me off at the airport when I was flying back to El Paso to deploy to Iraq within 24 to 48 hours.
And that was in 2009, correct?
Yes.
Right. And your tour in Iraq, do you remember when that started?
It was in April of 2009.
How long were you on tour over there?
It was we didn't hit a full exact 12 months, but it was like 10 and a half months or so. Because I came back, I believe it was in May of 2000 I want to say March of 2010. So we were just shy of the year mark. I know we were close enough to the year mark that, we were allowed to put the 2 marks on our dress uniforms of a full year deployment.
And I've got to ask you some questions about that tour. And I know that I don't like to ask anybody about this, but in this case, you've mentioned some things that you saw. You mentioned that you knew what burned bodies looked like. So I need to know, you referred to yourself as a bullet catcher. So I need to know kind of some idea for this jury what you experienced in Iraq.
So on that deployment, I was part of a specialized group. It's called PSD, Personnel Security Detachment. And we escorted high-ranking officers, any celebrities who came out on the USO tour, because the base I was at, we had a building, the ziggurat is from the Bible, home of Abraham. So anybody who came out to entertain us and all, they wanted to go out and see it, so we would provide security for them. But majority of the time, we were going out and providing security for high-ranking officers, meeting with local leaders in Iraq, and escorting officers from base to base, make sure they were okay. We also escorted EOD and the bomb sniffing dogs, and we did a lot of security for different stuff. We even did prisoner transport. We would go and pick up prisoners off Chinook helicopters and transport them to the jails that we had. And we just did a wide variety of security, and we also did patrols too as well.
Was that where the
So it would
burned
have been
bodies
during the
came in?
patrols that you saw the burned bodies?
Yeah, it's a third world country. I've always said to the people here who complain about this country, it's like, go to those countries. It makes you sick on the stuff you see. But yeah, I've seen bodies. I witnessed a dump truck flip over and crush a vehicle with 5 people in it and pancaked it.
Did it flip over because of an IED?
No, it flipped over because we were on a mission. We were transporting some top secret information, and a vehicle came up from behind. So the gunner on the last vehicle, he always pulled the 6 o'clock type, position. He got, whatever was coming up behind. So there was a car coming up. He flagged them to stop or whatever. Well, they got over onto the other side of the road, and so be it. A dump truck was coming up, and they both turned the same direction. The dump truck flipped over and landed right on top of the vehicle, and there was about 4 or 5 occupants in that vehicle, and it pancaked the vehicle. And it happened literally right in front of my truck. I had to slam on the brakes, and it was inches between the front of my truck and the dump truck that flipped over. That's how close it came from us wrecking. And of course, I had to pull around to pull security, and my PC, the guy who sits next to me, he goes, "Do you see anybody alive in there?" And I looked down, and it was a gruesome scene. And I was like, I highly doubt anybody's alive in that. So, we saw stuff like that. You see burning vehicles with people inside them. My platoon got blown up by IED one night. We've been rocketed, mortars coming in. I experienced a lot. Did
you ever have to move any of those bodies?
No.
And in this action, did you have to take any kind of tactical training out in the field, or any tactical movements out in the field, and wherein you actually killed somebody in Iraq?
I can't confirm, that I had somebody in my sights and I saw them go down, but there was some. It's hard to describe. Talk to people who've never been in that situation. So I could say one thing, but y'all could think something different. You're not there. It's not what's on the movies. It's completely different.
And you've experienced some PTSD since that time, correct?
For a while, I didn't like being in crowded places. I just felt uncomfortable. But no, I never really had nightmares and, nothing like that. The only problems I ever had was being in a very crowded area. I didn't like that. I didn't feel comfortable. And also loud noises. If something big fell and made a loud noise, y'all might get scared, but my heart rate goes up a little bit more, because it brings back the time we got blown up.
That's PTSD.
Because after that, it's still to this day, it still does it.
Did you seek any treatment?
No.
Did you ever think maybe you should have?
No, because it never controlled my life. When all that stuff happens, I just, especially like loud noise or something, I just take a couple of deep breaths and just calm down and go about my day. Don't really think about it anymore. Now I've gotten, it's been a long time since I didn't, I feel more comfortable now being in, very crowded areas. That all went away, once I was kind of back home. So.
And that was in 2010, correct? When you got back home?
Yeah, I got back from deployment in 2010.
And then you went to Texas after that, right? Or did I get that?
I was still stationed in Texas, so that was where I lived. And like I said, when I was deployed, I re-enlisted. It came up on time for my contract to be, extended. And I took the choice of getting duty station and re-enlisted, and I chose to go to Fort Benning with 3rd ID. That was the unit that was there. And then within a year, it was just a few months after getting back from deployment, I started the process of PCSing to Fort Benning.
Okay. PCS, what does that mean?
Permanent change of duty station.
Okay. Were you planning on doing a career in the military?
Yes, I was.
I think I heard you say that in a previous interview. You were that was the plan.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I probably wouldn't have stayed in the infantry. I would have gone with a different job, because it's very hard on your body being in infantry. And I was getting older. So, matter of fact, when I joined the Army, they begged me to be a helicopter mechanic because I scored so high on the ASVABs on the mechanical side, and they were really needing helicopter mechanics. But I didn't want to turn wrenches. I wanted to be infantry. So, I didn't choose that route. So I was thinking about, going into that side once, I came up for re-enlistment again. And then we had a meeting with our first sergeant, and then we had a meeting with battalion commander, and then it came out that they were going to be releasing a lot of people, and I was one of the people. And on my DD 214, it says reduction in force is the reason why I was separated from the Army.
And you were frustrated by that, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I had a contract. That's what I wanted to do. I had no choice in the matter. I volunteered to join the Army, and then they're just going to let us go. They gave us insurance for 180 days and said, if you got any other issues, just take it up to the VA.
So how long did you hang out in Columbus after being discharged before moving back in with your parents? Because you were married at the time, right? What was her name again?
Gina.
Gina.
I was married, but we were not together. She was living up here in Atlanta. And no, about the time that when I was getting released from the Army, the two guys I lived with, one other one was getting out as well too, and the other guy was being restationed at another base. So we were all moving out, and I was also coming back up home and trying to join Milton Police Department.
What year was that?
That was 2012. So I had quite a bit of time to the out processing. When you start getting out of the Army, it's not
right.
One day thing. It's several months. So they prep you for going back in the civilian world and allow you to go and seek other jobs and stuff like that. So I came up and started the process of joining Milton Police Department, and I did their PT test and I did their written.
Why Milton specifically?
Because I knew the area. I went to Milton High School. It was my town, my hometown that I grew up and went through school to. So, I was more comfortable doing it there. I wanted to do it there, if anywhere. So I just knew the area. It was my home. So, I was able to provide service, provide service for my country. Now I can provide it for my hometown.
You feel like that was what your life was meant to be, right, Scott?
To serve, yes.
Yeah, to be in service, whether law enforcement, military, that was what you were meant to do.
Yes, I was happy doing that. Okay. I enjoyed it.
And why? Why do you think?
Because I've always liked helping people. Look at it. When you're working on a car, you're helping somebody out. You're helping them fix their vehicle. They don't know.
Well, that's service. But that's a different type of service.
But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I just like being there for people and help out and do what I can. I enjoyed it.
Do you think that also you enjoyed people coming to you for help too?
Yeah. I have to do as much as I can. If somebody came up to me, if I'm able to do it, I'm going to help them out.
He likes to be the
hero.
hero.
Go to law enforcement for help, right?
Yeah.
That's what, okay. And did you apply anywhere else?
No, because I started there, and once I got through the one-on-one interviews, so I first did the PT test, then I did the written exam, and once
how'd you do on that?
Well, I passed because they said if you didn't pass, you wouldn't be called in for the one-on-one interview. So obviously I passed. I got called in. It was like another week or two later that I got called in for an interview. And I was in there with them for quite a bit of time. And the gentleman who was walking me out, he made the comment to me, he goes, "You have the GI Bill, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "If you can, try to get your post certification." I was like, okay. And
so does that mean that the GI Bill would have even paid for your post certification?
He said that to me. I didn't know if it
go
would
down to Jipstick, which back then was down near Macon.
I don't know where it would have been at.
Okay.
So,
Forsyth? No, they didn't tell you that?
No, sir.
Okay. Go ahead. Just keep telling me about that.
So, he made that comment, and then it was a couple days later I got a letter. And it pretty much said, thank you for your time and all, but it was along the lines as we don't have the funding to be able to send somebody to the academy. We're more looking for somebody who's already post-certified, but in the future, reach back out and apply again. So that's what I got. And then I started looking at, I went around to Roswell and stuff. I asked police officers there. I was, kind of seeing if it was the same thing. And everywhere I went, they were like, yeah, they're not hiring rookies. They're wanting already people who've already been police officers. And this was, towards the end of the recession. Now, a lot of counties had money and, our economy was not the greatest. Kind of almost what we're in now, but so it was that's why that got put on hold. And at the same time, we purchased the farm, and
So we'll slow down there real quick. So did you apply to anywhere in Cherokee County? Holly Springs, any of those?
At that time, no. So once we were at the farm, and it was getting to where things were getting better. I started seeing a lot of commercials about counties hiring and everything like that. I started researching into Cherokee County.
Okay.
And I was about to put my application in and start the process over again of doing that, and all this started. And then
all this meaning the barn, or meaning the farm.
No, I'm meaning as my father being murdered.
Okay, so that would have been the gap. Let's go back. I'm back in 2012. You're still living at Hampton Hall, yes?
6 years before the murder.
Well, during that time, I was in the process of processing from the Army and moving back.
But when you're applying to Milton and all those things, you've moved back in with your parents, correct?
I was still living down at Fort Benning, but I was coming up, staying on the weekends and doing that stuff. But by the time that I was able to, I was finished out processing down at Fort Benning, yes, I moved back home to the Hampton Hall neighborhood.
Okay. And do you remember what, specifically time of year that was in 2012?
Kind of a springtime, I want to say. I don't remember the exact date, but it was, if I remember right, somewhere probably around there, spring, summer.
Okay. So speaking of, restarts, you kind of did a restart by going into the military. Tell me, did you ever hear your parents talk about their own restart around that time?
No.
Restarting, and that was kind of why they bought the farm.
So at the time, everything seemed fine. They seemed like their normal selves again. So I never felt comfortable, talking to either one of them about, the drama that they had between them. But to me, it seemed like everything was back to normal, a happy life. And, they talked about putting the house up for sale and buying the property. And so everything seemed normal to me.
Well, tell me about the purchase of the farm. How did they find it? Why did they get it? What do you know about that?
So, if I remember right, we kind of started looking out at properties around the Milton area. And we looked at several different properties. And
you were going with them?
Yes.
All right.
And we...
Why were you going with them? Had they already determined that you'll be kind of the property manager if they get a property, or
no?
How did that come
not
up?
At that time. No, I was just there. I was one of the children who was I was living back with them and all. And
how were you making a living at the time? Did you have a job?
So at that time, I started working for. I got back into selling cars again. So when the police department thing didn't work out. I went back into selling cars. I worked for Nally Acura out by Dobbins Air Force Base.
Okay.
And I worked there until Nally opened up a Toyota dealership on Highway 9 in Roswell. They remodeled and built a whole new one. So once that opened, I put in a transfer to go from Acura to Nally Toyota. Because it was a much shorter drive from Alpharetta to Marietta.
And how long were you there?
It seemed like over a year. So, and my dad they came in and bought the Toyota Sequoia from me. So, I was there for a little while.
About when did you start running the farm?
So,
He's trying to fill the time gap.
I left Toyota, and then I started working at the warehouse. Was working there. That was when they decided to sell the house and buy the farm. So I was, working there and in the process of help moving and everything there. So, and then I lost my job.
You lost your job in 13?
Around there, yeah.
Right around middle of 13?
We were already on the farm.
Okay.
It already became winter because the snow apocalypse happened.
Okay. So maybe even into 14?
Snowpocalypse.
Yes.
Snowpocalypse for the thumbnail.
Yeah, so I do definitely know I was still working for the company when that snowstorm came in and it got so many people stranded on the highways and everything. Because I actually had to help Melody get home from that.
Okay. And so that would have been sometime in 14, and then you lost your job. What happened there?
So they used to have, the company I work for, they imported furniture pieces from Europe. The company was called Europe to You. So
Wait, I thought you were working at a car place.
No, I left Toyota and started working at the warehouse.
I missed that. All right.
Yeah.
Another job at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was working at the warehouse, doing that. So, but there's a building down in downtown Atlanta. It's the marketplace or something. It's where, everybody goes and sells to different companies and all. So everybody has their own studios set up and stuff. Well, they asked me to go, they sent me down there a lot to pick up furniture and stuff like that. And they asked me to go down there and they told me what, needed to be getting. My manager told me, and I told him, I was like, I need some help because I know that piece I can't pick up by myself. He told me, okay, take such and, I don't remember the guy's name, take him with you. So we go down there. Well, a couple days later, I come into work and the owners were like, we told you to go down there by yourself. I was like, I never got told to go by myself. I was told to ask, and then I asked, the manager if I'm able to take somebody because there was some furniture I couldn't get by myself. And they're like, well, we didn't authorize that. I was like, well, he did. So, they've already pretty much made up their mind they were going to let me go. And I think it's,
And so what you were just doing right there, and I'm sorry, I even got lost a little bit. You were explaining why you got terminated, correct?
Yes.
That's what that was.
Yeah, that's the reason why I lost my job there.
Okay, but you were terminated, and that was your explanation of why.
Yeah, that's the reason why. That was the reason why they told me that I was being let go, is because I wasn't authorized to take that employee with me to help out move the furniture.
Right. And so, was it at that point that your dad basically finally said, "Just come on back, run the farm. You can't hold a job. Come run the farm."
No, he never said that.
He never said that. How did he say it then?
So
I wasn't there.
After I lost my job, I let my dad know what happened and all. And once again, I sat and talked with my dad. I said, look, I really want to join, the police force. And he knew exactly why I was let go from the Army. And, he knew about the economy and everything. And we came on agreements that I would, manage the farm until people started hiring more in law enforcement.
So let's talk about that agreement. How did that work? I mean, where were y'all sitting on the farm when y'all came up with that agreement?
I don't remember exactly where we were sitting at when we came out. Most likely probably would have been down there by his office because, we would sit out there and talk sometimes.
All right. And were you were living in the barn, or were you living in the house back in 2004?
I never lived in the house. I always lived above the barn.
Right. And had y'all got any animals by that point?
At that time, we definitely had the goats. And we started adding on more to the farm. We got our first horse, and then we got.
Was that your idea? Where did these ideas come from? How did we create this farm? Because you guys lived, y'all live in Birmingham for years and years, and you said it was kind of a smaller house, similar to the size that you live in now. Then you moved to Atlanta or Alpharetta, and then all of a sudden it's this huge house, biggest house you'd ever imagined. Obviously, until you get to the house at Purcell Lane. But how did this come to pass? How did you guys decide to become farmers? I didn't really get a good answer for that yesterday.
My dad wanted something else that he could do more projects on. He ran out of projects at the old house, that's kind of why he wanted it more. I mean, I assume, if I remember right, it was they wanted something different. They wanted something bigger. He deserved it. I mean, he worked his tail off, and he could afford it. And you know, he grew up with his, you know, grandparents and everybody having cattle. And I mean, I remember going to my great grandparents, Mama Parsons, and they had cows and chickens and all that. So, you know, he wasn't opposed to it. Nobody was opposed to it.
Well, nobody was opposed to it, but who really wanted to do it? That's where I'm trying to get you guys to explain that to the jury.
My dad wanted property, and I would say, you know, Melody and I and all, we all like having the animals. My dad didn't really care.
He didn't care about the animals.
He didn't care about, you know, really having all the horses and everything like that.
So it was you and your mother that loved the animals. That was primarily the two people in this family that wanted
that, and you know, my brother's kids, they were excited about the horses, and no, everybody enjoyed the animals.
But the primary care of the animals was you and your mom.
The primary care was me.
Okay, so it was you. You were the primary care. So how much would you say your mother cared for the animals and the property?
Like I said, she would do a little bit. But no, not on a regular, every single day basis. She would get out and feed and clean stalls and stuff like that. It was me who did all that.
All right. So where did your paychecks go? Where did you get?
I never got paychecks. I never, you know, like I said earlier, you know, my dad gave me a credit card and he's giving me a debit card, and you know, that's what it. There was no agreement on, you know, oh, you're going to get such and such.
So you didn't have a set amount of money that you could live off of?
No, because he knew that I wasn't, you know, I wouldn't go out and try to buy a car or anything, stuff like that. You know, everything that I got was either for the farm or anything, but, you know, I could go out and have lunch, or I could go out, you know, and go play golf with my buddies and, you know, do stuff like that. But, you know, I never really went on vacations anywhere. I didn't do any of that. And, you know...
like Chris?
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I went without ever seeing a beach. I mean, it was, you know, the last time I saw a beach, we went on a beach trip right after I got back from deployment. I was in the process of changing from Fort Bliss to Fort Benning, and we all took a beach trip down the Gulf Shores.
And that's the last time, even to this day, that you've seen the beach?
No, I've seen the beach since then.
Okay. Back during these years?
Yes.
All right. So you would, on a day-to-day basis, if you needed money, you would have to get the credit card from your dad, correct?
Depending if he asked for it back. So
and he would?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had it majority of the time. He gave me a card and said, look, this is all the stuff you know, buy all the feed and everything like that on this, and this is your card. So that's how my paychecks worked. I mean, I was able to pay my cell phone bill, and
you would pay your cell phone bill?
Yeah, with the credit card.
And on the card, did it say, you know, multiple people within a family can have a card, right, on the same account? Did it ever say Scott Ferris on the card?
No, it never had my name on it.
Okay. Why not?
Because it was in my dad's name.
Right. Well, let's talk about that. Why do you think your dad never gave you a card in your own name?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean,
he never told you?
No.
Okay.
I didn't care to have one with my own name on it. It never really struck my mind.
Okay. So, and we're going to get into probably this afternoon. I have a number of exhibits and a number of texts and a number of things that we're probably going to talk about today. But I want to know how your dad felt about your spending money. In your words. Because you were at that...
He never had a problem because, like I said, I never went out and did extravagant things.
Well, here's what I'm trying to ask you. You were, in the year 2013, you would have been a 30-year-old man. Yes?
Yes.
Right, roughly a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
So you're a 30-year-old man, you're living at home, and you don't have
Here comes the
your
spice.
own debit card, even though you're working for the family and you're not getting paid. He keeps taking it back from you. Almost daily, weekly. You have to take it back. His card. Why do you think he kept you on such a financial tight leash?
He didn't keep me on that, and we didn't take it. He anytime that he needed it, his card is because he needed it for something. So I didn't question on that. So whenever he sent me a text message saying, "Hey, bring me my credit card," man, that was the time that he needed it, and I would wind up getting it back either the next day or a couple days later. He'll give it back to me. But no, he never once cut me off from, money.
So text messages that you've seen in this case. I mean, you've had your phone. You've gone through this many times with the district attorney's office. You even, I believe, we saw one earlier today where he wants you to get other jobs, do other things. Can you talk about that for the jury?
So you're talking about the instance where it showed earlier that it's time for you to pursue another job? Because at that time...
Well, as a matter of fact, Judge, can you switch that back up? It's still pulled up. It's right here. Thank you, Judge. Right here. 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was October 20th.
This is the
From your
job
dad
text.
to you, things will change dramatically. You need to pursue a job soon.
Yeah.
You got to tell me what was going on around that time, Scott.
She was disappearing off to Tennessee. And
What does that have to do with you, Scott?
Judge, I object. If he asks a question, the witness should be allowed under 611, 623 to answer.
Should.
You can't cut him off.
Sustain.
Let him finish his answer. Try to stay in the realm of the question. Go ahead.
So that question right there, at that time there was stuff going on between Melody and Rusty, and my dad was finding out. That's, earlier where you saw on, that the girlfriend of Rusty emailed him and all. That was about the same time period. And that was his way of saying that, he was going to sell the place. I mean, if he was going to file for divorce, he's going to sell the place, and that I needed to find work elsewhere. It wasn't referring to me as, he was putting it on me that I was freeloading off of him. No, that was him saying, "Hey, things are going to change."
Sorry, I'm going to let him answer. Did you feel like you were freeloading off of your dad?
No, because I put in a lot of work for him. I worked my butt off there at the farm, and I didn't ask for money and not do anything for him.
But you didn't really seem to get that much money. I mean, you would take out little amounts of money here and there, $100 here, $100 there to go play golf with Ted and do things like that, but you didn't have stuff. You didn't buy much stuff.
I didn't need it.
Okay. So you don't think it's unusual that you didn't ask for at least, $500 a week, something like that?
No, because everything I did wasn't, required that much money. I mean, I knew that I wasn't, having my own career and all. He was helping me out, and at the same time, I was helping him. So I wasn't going to go and, spend his money and not do work around the farm and help him out. I'm just not that. He raised me that way. So that's
old school.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a hard worker. I'm still to this day.
All right. I'm starting with Scott 88. So I'm going to show you some text messages. If we can switch back, Judge. What was phone number at the time?
It should be the same as now. It's always been the same. It's
867-5309.
So you can see in these, we use kind of a format that's not as good as the one the district attorney's office uses, but we all got it from them. And so source address, what phone number was that? The 678?
5.
Yeah.
Cell phone.
That was your dad's cell phone. All right. So I've got a text message here
It's about to be
that
shown on
looks
the
like
screen.
it was on 2018 629. What does it say?
The very top one?
Very top one.
Bring me the credit card.
All right. Then kind of working back in time, what does the next one say?
Come down here?
All right. Who's it? Is it from your dad to you?
Yes.
All right. What would that have been? Do you have any idea?
So that would have mean I was upstairs in my apartment. He pulled up to the barn and said he was texting me for it to come down.
Right. So this message right here, the next one, which is about 5 days before, 6/12. The 9032. That's your dad, and that's to you. And what does it say?
The credit card better be in my wallet before I leave tomorrow.
Right. Then, I think earlier that day, what does the next message say?
Bring me the credit card now.
All right. And then what does the next one say?
I grabbed the credit card because I needed to get Luke and Leroy flea stuff from the vet today.
So that would have meant you, this is earlier, this is about a week before, I guess. 6/7, it looks like it says, of 2018. But you had to tell him what you would spend money on, yes?
Yeah, I mean, in that instance, I told him why I was grabbing the credit card to go buy flea stuff for him. I always let my dad know what I was spending his money on.
Right, and it was in his wallet. That was where the credit card went.
Depending on the time, yeah.
Right,
if
so-
I didn't have it, he had it, and it would have been in his wallet.
Right, so what I'm saying is if this is your dad's wallet, wherever it was in the house, which you seem to act like you knew where it was. It was always in one of two places, is what you would say, right? In the car or on the dresser?
No, I never said it was in the car. I never once found my dad's, I never had to go get my dad's wallet out of his car. It was always on the dresser in the master bedroom.
It would never be downstairs with him?
I mean, it could have been at one, if he was down in the office working,
Right.
I mean, yeah, it'll be in his pocket, if he had it. But if it was not on his person, 99% of the time it was laying on the dresser in the master bedroom.
So if this is the wallet, this is the credit card, you literally would have, for every single purchase, you would go to your dad, get it out of his wallet, take it, use it, and then he would almost always be texting you asking for it back.
No, that's not what happened.
Well, why do these text messages read that way, Scott?
Because you're not showing the other ones that came along with them.
Like what?
I
mean, we're gonna put all this in evidence for the jury to see. We're just picking out him asking you for that credit card over and over and over.
Yeah, like I said, if I had it and he needed it for something, he would text me for bring me the credit card. And, we were just exchanging it back and forth.
I'm going to show you Scott 90. Read this message that's on the top of the screen. Oh, sorry. Can you see it now? You tell me when.
I don't know if it keeps getting fuzzy whenever it moves. So, okay. She went to Alabama, put money in the account so I could get stuff to make dinner. What do you want for dinner?
Right. And you and your dad, that would be the vast majority of the conversations that I've seen that you and your dad would have is you would talk about dinner and that credit card. Wouldn't you agree with that? Y'all didn't talk about the Crimson Tide, which obviously you like the Tide.
No, we always talk about football in person.
In person?
Yeah.
But in text, this is your conversations. Dinner, credit card.
Yeah, we were short and sweet. I mean, that's how we would communicate a lot of times. Send a text to each other.
All right, so the next message going down sometime around in May of 2018. I think this one, you're 2667, to your dad. Read it to me.
Put more money in the account so I could go get something to fix dinner. Any recommendations on what you want?
All right. So explain to me. So you got to help me understand how this account is working. You keep asking to put money in the account. Was there a separate account that you would use essentially for the barn and for yourself from your dad's other primary account?
So my dad, once things started getting really bad, things started occurring a lot more, Melody disappearing to Tennessee, she was spending a lot of money and all. So my dad set it up. I really don't know if he opened a different account or what he did, but he gave me a card and he's like, look, this is to, account. I'm only going to put so much money into it. And if you need more, just let me know and I'll put more money. Because there was a time, you haven't shown the text message, that he was asking me, I do remember that, I had to explain that she kept taking the credit card from me and going and buying stuff. So he didn't want her spending the money like she was. So he kind of managed to, get that other account. He gave me the card. And so if I need to go get fertilizer or anything like that, or get stuff to make dinner, I just send them a text, say, hey, put money in the account and I'll go do this. And you're not showing the other text messages that went along with it. Like the last one, it would have said hamburgers or something like that.
And everybody knows I'm pretty slow, but if we sat here and went through every text message between you and your dad for 5 or 6 years, we'd be here for a really long time. So we're trying to move this along as quickly as we can, but I'm going to give the jury every bit of those text messages. Here's what I need to know right now. He says to you in this text message, again, bring me my credit card now. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it says bring down my card now.
All right, but that's
the now
that's
part.
A very affirmative, firm statement. Now. It's not, please could you bring me my credit card? When you get a chance, could you bring me the credit card? I know you're busy, son. It doesn't say that. It says, bring me my credit card now. Every one of these are now, or put it back in my wallet. I haven't heard the word please. Did your dad use the word please a lot with you?
In person, yeah, but not in text message.
But not in text message.
Yeah.
So again, this is just your word with no proof of that. But when we actually look at the way that he would communicate with you about the money, it clearly shows that he's telling you what to do and when to do it. Yes?
No, I know exactly when he would send a text like that. He'd be pulling up, he had to get to work. So he's like, I need it now, I gotta go.
That's your explanation?
That text message like that, that's what comes to my memory of, when he would send a text like that. He'll be in his Mercedes down below the barn. I'll be upstairs and he'd say, bring me my credit card now. And so I would, leave my apartment, walk down and hand him the credit card.
Well, I'm going to come down here. It's still in what looks like May of 2018. This is your dad to you, and I guess it's right around Mother's Day of 2018. Can you read that to me, please?
Since you have my credit card again, you need to order some flowers for me. My mom's birthday is today.
Okay. So that was for his mother?
Yes.
Okay. But since you have my credit card again, you wouldn't tell him sometimes you'd go get it?
No, he knew when I would get it.
Okay. But sometimes he wouldn't, right?
No, I always pretty much, he knew when he would have. He would have it, or I would get it.
Right. He knew that when you would have it because he controls when you would have it. Yes.
He didn't control it. It was communication. He knew what I let him know. Hey, I'm going to be grabbing a credit card, and that's just him way of saying since I had it.
May
order some flowers.
Sorry, finish. You got anything else on that?
No, it's just saying.
All right. May the 8th. Could you read that text message from your dad to you?
Sorry, the top one. Bring me the credit card.
Bring me the credit card. Next one down, 428. What's that one about?
Where's the truck?
And that's your dad to you.
Yep.
Right. All right. So these text messages, again, everybody's relationship with their parents is always very different, but y'all seems to be very businesslike and cold. Wouldn't you agree?
Cold? No, I
at
wouldn't
least
say
in
cold.
messages.
No.
You disagree with that?
Yeah, I mean, we were always short on text messages. I mean, I still catch crap about, from friends of my fiance. They ask me a question, and I'll be like, okay.
But you don't remember the way that you would communicate with your mother back during this time?
I mean, yeah, I remember.
Well, tell me about it. What do you remember?
We're about to see texts between him and his mom.
I mean, there's a lot of different stuff to communicating on. You have to be more specific on, what you're kind of referring to.
Okay, I will. These are just messages for you.
Are you tendering all?
I'm tendering Scott's 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, and so far also 91, Scott 91, Scott 90, Scott 88.
No objection. All right, Did you get that far from
I think I did. All right. So you would talk a lot more to your mother. So it actually you don't really talk to your dad much on these cell phones. I got to zoom this one in. This was supposed to have been Adrian's job, but I've taken it. I've got it, Adrian. All right. So
zoom in.
Any more?
You follow the guide I gave you on the Elmo with the top half a document tape and bottom half a document tape.
I'm bad with instructions.
The judges put taped outlines on the Elmos. Like
Top half doc. I'm on top half. I'm good. I've got it. Can everyone see it? Scott, can you see it?
It's a little fuzzy, right? But yes, I can make it out.
Why don't you bring your assistant up?
Adrian, can you come help? Thank you.
Since I gave her directions during the break, and she'll probably follow my directions better than
She's
you.
the best, Judge. She's the best. All right. So
focus.
These are messages that appear to be between your mother and you. Y'all are also talking about the credit cards, right? Can you see that?
It appears so, yeah.
All right. So can you read it?
The top one, need credit card.
Okay. About to head out. Why?
Yeah, and then leave me the credit card.
All right. Keep going. Adrian, if you could.
Looks like he's staying home. Great. I'm going to sit out here for about another hour. Let's go to Hobby Lobby so we can get bows for the wreaths for the barn. They are rough. Oh, sorry, that's real fuzzy over there. They're in rough shape. How to focus in.
Yeah, it's like focusing and then going out.
How about now?
Okay, they didn't have any the other day. May have gotten more. He went to work.
This is in 2017, around November 2017. Yes?
Yes, the date's on them, yes.
Okay. And this is between you and your mom.
Who's kicking their leg back there on the right side of the screen? Is it the bailiff?
Keep reading, please. And say who it's from. So just like Scott Ferris.
I mean, it's not really showing me who's sending it and who's receiving it. I don't see that. I see my name and my number, but I don't see hers.
Do you see that right there?
Yes, I see that, but
that's you, right? That's your phone number?
Yes, that's my phone number.
So that means it's coming from you to your mother.
Okay, I'm going off your words that that's what's.
Well, we got this from the district attorney's office, so this is off of y'all's phones.
Okay. I just know out from the other text messages it showed, 2 phones and back and forth. So I'm just going off of what you're saying, and so yeah, he went to work and we're somewhere because he just left. Want to go to Hobby Lobby with me? They are closed on Sundays.
That's from your mom. All right, so right there, you mentioned he went to work or somewhere because he just left. Would you and your mom talk a lot about where your dad was?
I mean, if she would ask what he was doing, or I would ask her what he was doing if he was home, or if a lot of times if she was gone up in Tennessee, she will ask where my dad was. So text messages like that. I mean, from reading those are different times, different parts of conversations.
Okay, so moving forward to December of 2017. Okay, can you see that, Scott?
Yes, I can make it
All right,
out.
so that'd be, it looks like December 28th, 2017. Could you read it?
Did you feed him? Because I haven't heard from him.
Melody says nope. Then you ask.
Is he home?
And she says.
Just came in.
All right. Back around Christmas. Go ahead, read it.
Did he go up there?
She says no idea. Then I believe other text message from one. Actually, that was January 25th. I can see it a little better over here in 2018. January 28th. Did he ever come home? That's you, Scott. Melody says yes. All right, that text message is right there.
So top one, my buddy is about to pick me up, and we're going to be shooting in competition today.
Okay. You going to be home for dinner? Yes, shooting last rounds now. Do you remember that conversation at all? You remember a lot. You remember a lot of context. You've talked to this jury about a lot of context and a lot of the things that you and your father, you can remember all these things. But when we start talking about these conversations that you have with your mother, it seems like you can't remember any of them. That's what I'm saying.
Objection form, it's not a question, he's testifying.
Why can't you remember these conversations?
Because there's all these right here, they're different sections of the conversation. I don't have the full.
Well, I've got a theory. I have a theory. So I'm not good at math, but I had somebody in my office do some math. Would you disagree that in the 6 months from January the 1st to June the 1st of 2018 that you called your mother 134 times and that she called you 235 times on the phone? That sound about right?
I wouldn't argue it.
Okay. And in that same period of time that you called your dad 14 times.
Yeah.
And he called you 16 times.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, to me, tell me if you disagree. I'm going to put this in the phrase of a question. Tell me if you disagree. It seems that at that time period, around the time of your father's passing, you were far closer to your mother than to your father.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Then explain.
I mean, you're asking why there was more communication between her and I, because my dad was at work. I didn't call my dad up all day long every day and disturb him at work. It was, she was there at the farm too, and we were the ones, my dad did projects on the weekend, but we were the ones doing stuff around the farm, throughout the week. So yeah, there was a lot more communication between her and I, versus my dad and I. He was a busy man. He's a lawyer just like you, and he's got to work.
Now, it sounds like he was a much better lawyer than me, but I want to keep going on these conversations with your mother.
Seeing him, the lawyer made more money than him.
Again, moving forward to February of 2018.
I don't think it's the daughter.
Similar types of conversations that you guys keep having, wanting to know where Gary is all the time. Why? Read it. Just read it, please, for the record.
Is he going to work today? Is he gone? Why?
He says he's gone. Why?
He's gone. Why?
That's your mother asking you why. Why? And you say,
didn't know if he was or wasn't for President's Day.
Okay.
And let me guess, he is staying home.
And your mother said,
don't know, I'm at Walmart.
So it seems, and tell me again if you disagree with this, but it seems that you and your mother were constantly communicating with each other about where your father was. Yes?
I mean, yeah, we're trying to figure out what, he was doing.
Right? Because I think you've made the statement that when he was on the farm, I mean, you've said this, that he would break things and he would mess things up.
He would start projects and, not finish them, and I would have to end up finishing them, and I mean, like I've always said about my dad, he was incredibly book smart, but he didn't have as much common sense.
He didn't have as good common sense as you and Melody.
Yeah, I mean, it's either you're going to have be really great at book smarts, or
you can't have both.
You can have both, but in my dad's case, I don't even know if he knew how to turn on the dishwasher. I mean, but he can give you every history of World War II.
Okay.
It's just that type of person.
But it appears from the messages and from the finances about he controlled his pocketbook with you. And you've said what you've said about your mother, but he also controlled it with you with an iron fist.
No, he didn't.
You just you'll never agree. Despite the words on the page, his control, you had no free association, no free power over your own money.
What are you meaning by free power over my own money?
Exactly what I mean. You had no ability without asking or going and literally taking the credit card from your father's wallet. You had no access to funds without first asking permission or going and getting it. And then when you did go get it, it was clear within the text.
In proper form, testifying, not questioning. He's got a question at the end. We'll get there. Go ahead.
When you did go get it, he would immediately ask for it back, yes?
Not immediately, no.
He kept tabs on his money.
Well, yeah, because, a lot of his money was being spent elsewhere, not by me.
Not because he didn't trust you?
No, he trusted me. That's why he gave me a credit card, and and when he set up the other account, it was so he could keep more control of keeping her from spending all the money up in Tennessee.
And that's your testimony?
That's why I know for a fact why my dad set up the account and he only put so much money in there, was so he's able to keep more control of his money. It's not for the fact that he was being restricted on me. Because you can see in all the text messages when I asked him to put more money in, he did it. He didn't argue with me. He did it. And it's just respect out of my dad. I'm not going to sit there and go and blow all his money. I'll let him know what was going on. Yes, there was times that, he would see bank statements of Melody spending money and stuff like that, and he would get pissed off and then send me a text saying stop spending so much money. But it wasn't referring as to me doing it. It was he was frustrated that his money was being spent up in Tennessee.
I want to talk real quick before I ask you about these text messages on the screen right here. I do want you keep referring to the money though as his money. You're aware that when people are married, that money is an equal amount your mother's money as his money. It's their money, right?
Yes.
Right. You refer to it as his, but it's theirs. It's marital property.
Yes. Legally, yes.
Absolutely. And in reality, because that is what the bonds of marriage mean. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So your mother would show frustration as well and say, never mind, I won't go because all we do is work. That's you, all right, in uppercase. What are you talking about right there? Do you remember?
That, it doesn't ring a bell, but that could have been, me wanting to either could have been going to hang out with friends or go play golf or something like that. But, that was just me saying, never mind, I won't go do it and I'll do the work.
Okay. And then she says to you, don't like it, get a job and move out. Right?
Yes.
Did she say that a lot to you?
Yes, she did.
Because she thought you were a mooch.
I guess in her eyes, yeah.
Right? And because you were a mooch.
No, I wasn't.
And your father saw you as the exact same way, and he kept a very tight rein over you and your mooching off of him.
No, that was never the case.
Well, also your mother would say this, my patience with you is gone. I promise you things are going to change. I'm not continuing to live like this. Your life is not going to continue like this. What does that mean? That was in May of 2018.
So you wanted my opinion on why she would say something
I
like
asked
that?
you, and I'm going to tell you what I think, but I'm asking you.
In my opinion on that, because at that time, she was disappearing to Tennessee to be with, lo and behold, came out to be Rusty.
Can you tell me how that has anything to do with the fact that you were taking money from the family and you were not working? You wouldn't do any work. You would go golf. How many times a week would you go golfing?
It varied. I could play golf one time a week or 2 times a week, but we always played twilight. Do you play golf?
I play golf.
So you know what twilight is.
But
it's the end of the day golf.
You asked me a question. I'm going to answer the question.
I was just asking if you knew what if you play golf.
I wish I could play as much golf as you did, because I only get to play 3 to 4 times a year, and I'm terrible at it. But you play golf how many times a year?
I couldn't give you an exact number on that.
More than 3 or 4 times a year, right?
Yeah, at that time, yes.
Okay, but you call it twilight golf. It's a little bit cheaper, right? How much around?
It was like, at the time, $20-something. It was like 22, 23, somewhere in there, between $20 and $30 to play a full 18-hole of golf.
Right, and you get a 6-pack of beer too.
Yeah, not a lot of times we drank. And
cart girl come around and give you a drink.
They didn't have a cart girl during the weekday at twilight, so no.
But you go on the weekend too, right?
Nah, very, very rarely do we go because it costs so much more to go play golf on the weekend.
And holidays, right?
Yes.
Because certainly on July the 4th of 2018, you were out playing golf.
Yeah, we try to make it a tradition between us to play 4th of July golf.
Going to the lake.
Yeah.
Right? You had a lot of buddies over all the time. Y'all had some grilling out. Y'all did some grilling. They testified to that.
Yeah.
Shooting on the property.
Yeah.
Right? What I'm getting at, and this might be getting close to the 12:30 time that I believe the judge said we would be having a lunch. I'm just waiting for my stopping point.
One message from the
deli.
Well, if you get to places,
I'm getting close. That's why. Okay. But what I'm getting at is that you, instead of doing your required job at that farm, you'd be gone a lot of times. And you wanted to know where your father was, texting your mother all the time. Where's Dad? Where's he at? What's he doing? So that you could sneak
up.
up.
I'm going to object to the form. He's testifying. He's not asking a question. It's not a compound question. It's pure up, and Mr. Weaver likes to do it. He's testifying.
Try to rephrase, Mr. Weaver.
I'll try to rephrase. You wanted to know where your daddy was so that you could go play golf and just not do what he wanted you to do. Yes?
No.
You felt essentially, and you were treated
the smiles in the gallery
by your father. You were a 35-year-old man in 2018, but you were treated like a teenager. Yes?
No.
Why not?
He didn't treat me like a teenager. He treated me like an adult, but, I work for him. I work there to maintain it. Pull up all the other text messages about us talking about projects and measuring out stuff, and him asking my opinion on stuff that needed to be done around the farm and equipment being bought and stuff like that. Those text messages are in there too. I honestly do not feel like he treated me like a teenager. No.
You would agree with me that this lifestyle that you were leading in 2018 wasn't going to be feasible for much longer. Yes? You would agree with that?
What do you mean by feasible?
This way of getting money from your father and living on the farm without having an actual job off of the farm, that wasn't going to be feasible for much longer, was it?
No, eventually at the point I was going to get to where I was going to go and pursue a job in law enforcement, and they would have to take care of the property themselves.
Right, because you told Melody, your mother, on the 5th, I believe, or the 4th. I think you said it was on the 4th. If this conversation happened, that you said, I'm going to be getting a job soon, and y'all are going to have to figure out how to run this place. That's what you said. You said it to the jury yesterday.
Yeah, I said it to her. She was laying in bed with the dogs. I definitely 100% remembered that conversation.
So in your own words, you would agree with me that your lifestyle was coming to an end at that barn, yes?
Things were going to be changing, yes. I was going to be pursuing a career in law enforcement, and I would not be able to be there all the time to take care of the farm.
That will probably be a good breaking point, Judge.
All right, we'll break. Let's be here shortly. All right, go step out.
Okay, it's gotten spicy in here. Just remember, if we don't like what the attorney's doing, we don't have to do it ourselves in chat. Everyone, please take a step back if you're upset. If you have to say 3 or 4 times why you think something is right in chat, you're probably not the best place to have the conversation. Don't make our mods delete things. We are trying to time people out because the conversations are out of control.
All right, we'll start back.
Don't be offended if you got timed out. Everyone's still friends here. We just need to take a deep breath.
1:35.
All right. Angela, you know better than to try to start a poll in chat without permission. We don't do that. It spams the chat. Thanks. All right. We have a couple things coming up. First of all, in half an hour, Judge Simpson's docket, his 1 o'clock docket starts, and Haley should be there for a final hearing. We might get all the good news at that hearing. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. We'll be watching for that, which means we have a short lunch. Wrap up on this. The defense attorney spent a lot of time getting Scott talking, and I don't know, getting his baseline, I guess, getting him comfortable. And I've got to give it to Scott. He was consistent in how he responds, and even though he's a little bit upset about some of the questions and denying things, his mannerism in answering the defense is very, very similar to how he answered the prosecution, and that goes a lot for me to truthfulness. I believe he believes what he's saying. I think that goes a long way. I think if you sit down and look at it, he did have a pretty cushy lifestyle. It's normal to him. This is how he grew up. He had a lot of dad paid for everything, and there was a lot of fun. But most of us didn't have that sort of treatment growing up and realize it was really cushy. Angela, we have to go to break. Hang on a second. Let's see. My phone's beeping.
Call from
Angela.
Angela, hello. Are you calling to apologize? Just
Yeah, I'm calling to apologize, but yeah, I said it in chat. The attorney is going through what he's spending and so on, but how much did the mother spend? I want her to come on the stand, or someone to get on the stand and go through her spendings, because I bet $5 or $500, whatever, that her spendings, because Prada, Gucci, and so on and so on.
The difference
is $2,500.
It's the mom's money. It's not the son's money.
But hold on a second. Yes, but the Scott did work on the farm, and he did not pay. He did not get paid. So if you add up all of his expenses, it's less than whatever he would have gotten paid per month. So it cancels each other, you know.
I have a hard time, this idea of we sat down and we worked out a verbal contract about what I was going to do around the farm. I'm not buying that story because there's no payments. The dad, who was so good at tracking money and where it was going and being on top of it, to have an employee on the farm that just never got paid, there would have been payments. There would have been chunks. Here's January, here's February, here's March, here's your money. Instead of give me my credit card now, bring me back my credit card better be back in my wallet. The attorney's convincing me on this. I don't think the relationship that Scott had with his parents financially is what he was setting out to be. I think he was rationalizing it.
I guess,
and saying, "Oh, I was running this farm. I'm running this place. You guys are gonna have to figure it out. If I'm not here, just wait. You'll see how much work I did around here." That's what I'm feeling from Scott.
But I believe the Scott. I think that they did have that sort of an agreement. So, I mean, even though the father does maybe some comes across like that, I think that it was like that agreement. You know, you pay my expenses and I take care of the farm until I get the job. It sounds like a reasonable agreement, even though it does not sound like that.
It's
to some.
I can see how that agreement could easily be. I mean, it does sound reasonable, but I'm not seeing any evidence in any of the text messages. And where's the money? Scott, even his own, he said, I didn't need money. I didn't have any bills. My lifestyle wasn't like that. He did need money. Every time he wanted to do something, he needed his dad's credit card. There was no payment to him. It was, I would use my dad's credit card. I'd take it. Hey, the horses need this, and then I'd have it, and I'd use it for what I needed. And his dad's got, give me my credit card back. Give me my credit card back. I don't think there was an agreement.
No. Which is, on one hand, odd for someone who's a lawyer, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And again, sorry for starting that in the chat.
I knew I could call you out and you wouldn't be offended. So thank you, Angela. I appreciate that.
Thank you, and thank you. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye bye. All right, we have to go to break because we need a break between now and when we start court with Judge Cedric Simpson. I've got a timer. We've got a new thumbnail up saying to start at 1, but it's really not going to start until Judge Simpson really comes back on the air. We're going to try to get Haley's appearance in, and then we might have to catch up live to what's happening in this court. So we might be a few minutes behind because we want that Haley update. I appreciate everyone. I realize there's some strong feelings in chat. Thanks for being friendly. Just realize other people feel differently, as strongly as you feel about what you feel. Does that make sense? And we can still be friends at the end. I'm not necessarily right. Most of the time I've been wrong. I've been wrong and changed my mind throughout this trial. I'll probably do it again. I appreciate you guys sharing respectful things. Thanks for not calling names. We are cracking down on that as much as we can. We've got a lot of people here in chat. We're trying to also, limit the spammy type comments that if we can, try to keep it focused on the issue at hand. So we're gonna go to a quick lunch break, maybe about half an hour. So eat your manure tossed salad quickly. I'm gonna go have a salad. Can't believe he said we tossed the manure pile like you toss a salad. It's like, why do I need that visual in my head before lunch? All right. We're gonna have lunch. We're gonna come back. I do think Scott is believable overall, but I think he's convinced himself of a couple things. I think he believes him, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's how it really was. All right, tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again after the lunch break. Give us half an hour maybe. I think Judge Simpson will be live. We're gonna have Haley back in court, hopefully with some great news that we can share with all of you. And if they don't share it on the air, we'll tell you what we know on our side, if that's fair. As long as it's happened. As long as we have confirmation that it's happened. So, all right, take care, please. If you got timed out, please don't be offended. Our mods are doing their best. Some people get timed out on accident, and some people get timed out on purpose. You might be either one. Just take stock, self-measure, whatever it is you have to do, and just take a breath and come back, and we'll be fine after lunch. All right, we'll see you guys. Have a good one.
I saw a chicken fight.
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
When are we going to break for lunch?